everyone. How are y'all doing? I'm doing pretty good. Let me get the links out first. And also to make sure that my bottle respawned. Alright. There we go. Do that. Okay, there we go. And now to make sure the bottle respawned everywhere. Come on. Alright. There we go. Now I get the links out. Hopefully this will come up just fine this time. Alright. That was awfully weird. Okay. Hold on, guys. Alright. I should have checked on the tags. But oh well. Not gonna be too bad. But yeah, things were awfully weird. But not as weird as they were when I started the other part of the stream here. Alright. Good, it looks like that's working. Alright. So we got our message here. Alright, that's right. Yeah. I got a new shirt last night. From family. You all will see it soon enough, but how well, I don't really know. Because for me, the information I get from a preview of the software doesn't make my face cam look too big. And that's fine. already covered that one. That one's there. Good. Don't have to worry about it. Go here. And here. Here I need to check. PM 10:30, so they're likely done. Alright. Well, yeah, I should have checked on the tags better. Alright, so that one's there. Go on that one. And this one. This one. That one. This one. Okay. Then we'll go here. Got two more left. At least of this stuff. Still got one more place to share off the links though, so. But yeah, got a short as a souvenir for Canada. And Canada is one of those places that kind of annoy me because it's not too different from the States here. Like, sure, you've got some things that are different, but generally it's not too big. Don't go dark. So we'll just go with that one. Alright. Now that we've taken care of that, let me get the game up and then we'll switch on over. And here we are. Now we can really begin. Hello there, everyone. I hope you're doing well. As I mentioned earlier, I got a new shirt here I'm wearing. The Canada shirt that I was talking about earlier while I was getting set up. And I'm not too sure how well you guys saw that, but I don't feel like showing it for too long because I want to get on with this. Okay. It's been kind of funny here, but so far my day's just been quite relaxing, which is nice. device. We shall load it. Alright. After finishing my walk and returning home, I found Akari and Leland going back and forth in a heated argument. That one was fine, right?
あかりの目指す演技はこれではありません。もう一度お願いします。
This is not what I am aiming for with my performance. I ask that we do another take. It seemed like Leland had been around for Akari's practice the whole time. A recording device and other gadgets were brought into the living room. Peeking in from the hallway, it looked like Akari was reading out loud from an audition script. I didn't know anything about performing, so I couldn't say whether it was good or bad, good or not. But honestly, she sounded really good. Her voice had a nice charm to it, a sweet ring to it, one that made your heart melt.
ダメですね。少し休憩します。ディルーさんも休んでください。
Still no good. I will take a short break. You should rest as well, Leland.
ここにいるわ。
Okay, I'll stay here. No. I'm okay. I'll stay here. Okay. She said she'd take a break, but Akari put on her earphones and began listening to her recordings. All she could think of was her own performance.
頑張ってるでしょ。
She's really working hard, isn't she? Noticing that I was there, Leland came over and whispered to me. She's always goofing off, but yes, she really is. Seeing her practice so seriously was honestly a surprise. She was always messing around this whole time. I assumed she was completely unserious. But I guess you should never judge a book by its cover.
見ていると妹を思い出すのよね。
She reminds me of my younger sister in a way. You have a sister?
妹と弟がね。だから放っておけない。誰かさんと同じでね。
Yeah, a younger sister and a younger brother. That's why I can't stop myself from helping her out. Kind of like someone else I know. Leland glanced at me for a second. Someone else? Was she talking about me? Oh, and she had a lot of nerve. One day I'll show her how capable I am. Maybe in 5 years.
おや、西目さん、いつからそこに？
Oh, Nishime, how long have you been there? Akari took out her earphones. It seemed that I had finally entered her sight and she perked up like a cat. Just before you went on your break.
そうして、あかりを弛緩していたのですね。
And you just...
いやらしい趣味なんでしょう。
And you just stood there peeping at me, huh? What a lewd boy. Really? Why would you consider that peeping? There she goes again. And just after I complimented her too. Oh, what's that? Kari took out something that looked like a tablet and some speakers from her bag.
せっかく西目さんも来たのなら、アニメ鑑賞をしようと思いまして。
Since you're here now, Nishime, I thought we could watch some anime together. You sure you have time to watch anime?
優れた演技を見るのも練習ですよ。あと、純粋にやる気が出ます。
Practice includes watching the work of professionals. Also, it helps to keep me motivated. I wouldn't call watching anime watching the professionals because other than possibly the voice actors and actresses being singers for what they're watching, and it being a singing anime, I don't think it's gonna help her. So it's like that. I wanted to know what anime they were watching, so I took a peek from behind. It was about a former street king named Ryu Koronoha, who is reincarnated as a young girl in a different world. Oh my gosh. This sounds like Yakuza reincarnation that they're watching, but I think that they weren't a former street king in there, they were just former Yakuza. Or they should say that they were Yakuza until they died. So I'm wondering if that's what this is gonna end up being here. The young girl dressed like some guy from a 2000s men's fashion magazine and went around beating the crap out of her enemies. Coincidentally, a friend of mine gave me a doujin magazine, one of those self-published works that was based on the anime, so I recognized the title. Reincarnated Girl, huh? Oh, you know your anime well. I don't think that's the case, Akari. A lot of anime is based on light novels these days, and in the past it was a lot based on manga. And so you can recognize the art style well. And they just explained what doujin was, so don't have to do that. I'll get you drunk on my wicked love. I'm the most wicked guy there is. Girl or boy, it don't matter, I'll take him down the same. Famous lines appeared one after the next. We watched the anime in silence. Anime has the power to wash away your worries and anxieties, move you to your core. We ended up binge watching all the way to the latest episode. Ah, that was amazing, Akari said with an excited expression. It had become completely dark outside. That was a good story. I was very moved. Right? Before I knew it, I wanted to get involved with this kind of anime. Oh, that's what you meant by professionals, huh? But I don't think you get your choices that easily. Kari spoke with an ecstatic tone. You could see that she was starstruck by the idea of becoming a voice actress. A sense of excitement that I'd never felt before. You'll have to pass that audition. Obviously. Obviously, you two have exceeded my expectations with your help. It's only right that I repay that kindness by bringing home victory. She's too confident here. Akari sounded determined. Yeah, I read that right. She was getting a bit cocky, so I ruffled her hair. Save all that for after you win Hisaku's Got Talent, okay? The competition was in 2 days. She needed to win before we could get any further. Akari, huh? Oh, so this is possibly a change. We'll see about this. I was a beautiful girl born on Toyotoki Island, to my misfortune. Yep, it is her. Aside from my beauty, there wasn't anything special about me. Though I could sing if I wasn't an aspiring voice actress, I might have been an idol. To top it off, I came from a wealthy family. Then one day, I hired Nishime. In order to take first place in Hisaku's Got Talent and go to my audition, I would need help. My classmates were too close to the people of the island. As someone without any connections, Nishime was the perfect choice. So I went to meet with him as a potential employer. I thought that he would be alone, but he brought along a very, very busty beauty along with him. Oh my gosh. I was completely enraptured. Her name was Leland. She was gorgeous enough to be on the cover of a swimsuit magazine. She was a foreigner, and she was even fluent in Japanese. She wore strange traditional-looking clothes and jewelry and pulled it off with a natural confidence. Her idea of fashion seemed leagues ahead of what high school girls in Japan were wearing. My mind raced with the possibility of their relationship. He said that they were just friends, but that didn't seem likely to me. For two people who had only met a month or so ago, they were much too in sync with each other. It was when I went to the Cape to practice my vocals that it happened. A pit viper suddenly pounced out from out of the grass. There were few people on Toyotoki Island, so coming across pit vipers during the day was a common occurrence. Most of the time you could get away if you didn't provoke them, but this time I noticed far too late. We got too close and the viper prepared for an attack. Without hesitating, Leland stepped out in front of Nishime. He hid behind her as if it was completely normal. And with her bare hands, Leland punched the pit viper into submission. What's more, the two of them began rejoicing about how they had found today's dinner, or some other ridiculous notion. I was so shocked I couldn't join their conversation. Ever since that incident, I noticed a strange sense of unity flowing between the two of them. The way they interacted was sweet, even sensuous. At times, I couldn't help but imagine what they'd been doing behind closed doors. You do have a dirty mind, Akari. That was when I developed a sense of curiosity. No, in fact, I was curiosity incarnate. I cast aside any reservations I had and asked directly.
リルーさん、つかぬことをお聞きしますが、西目さんとはどのようなご関係で？
Leland, this may come off as somewhat personal, but if I may, what is your relationship with Nishime?
ただの知り合いよ。
He's just a friend, that's all. She turned me down bluntly. Leland was difficult to get close to. I was a little scared of her, so I quickly changed the topic.
リルーさんはどこから来たのですか？
So where are you from, Leland?
それは言えないことになってるの。
I can't tell you, unfortunately. Her guard was up and I couldn't break through. I tried my luck by asking Nishime about it instead.
西目さんはリルーさんとお付き合いしてるんですか？
Are you and Leland dating? What? Why the hell would I be dating that weirdo?
得体の知れない？知り
Weirdo?
合いじゃないんですか？
Weirdo? Aren't you two friends? You make me want to punch you in the face even more, Akari, now that we're going from your perspective. Yeah, and just that.
誕生日とか血液型とかそういうことも知らないんですか？
But you must know her birthday or blood type or something. Nope, she won't tell me anything. That was a weird response. From their actions, it was obvious that they knew each other well, so why would they say they don't? If it were a boy I was friends with in class, I would at least remember his birthday or hobbies. When people don't know things like that, it means there must be some distance between them. Based on that, I could deduce that there was some distance between Nishime and Leland. But from my perspective, they seemed so close. What relationship could those two have? My imagination was running wild. And then one day I found an answer that brought me closer to the heart of the matter. It was just the other day when I realized the truth. It was the day after the delinquent attack. Nishime brought me to his house so that they could interrogate me. I was forced to reveal myself as an otaku, which was a slightly embarrassing experience for me. Why would that be embarrassing to you? Although I do hear that the term otaku is not a praiseworthy term to use in Japan. After that, Nishime let me use his house as a place for me to practice. Alright, take care of things while I'm out. Okay. Leland stayed behind as Nishime went off to walk my dog. With the owner of the house out, the two of us were left alone. It was awkward to say the least. Since I assumed that Nishime still lived with his grandfather, I was worried about what would happen when he returned to the house. Still, Leland has been responding nonchalantly, and Nishime didn't seem worried either. Perhaps I was just being naive. But when my practice ended, Nishime and Leland both saw me off, standing at the entrance, together. I was so confused. Why wasn't Leland also going home? I nearly asked the question, but my senses kept the words from leaving my mouth. If I had heard the answer, I wasn't sure if I could handle the excitement. The next day, I inspected Nishime's house very closely. The kitchen, the bathroom, the toilet, the shoe rack at the entrance. I looked all over, but there was not one trace of a feminine touch. I came to the conclusion that Nishime was, in fact, living by himself. She jumps to conclusions way too quickly here. Perhaps yesterday there was some special circumstance as to why the two saw me off. But there was a decisive moment, one sentence that Leland had said. I'll bring you some towels from my room. It was when I had been exhausted and sweating profusely. After saying that, Leland made her way to the inner portion of the house. There was no other conclusion I could make. That these two, even if they weren't married, were definitely living together. That was their relationship. Man alive. Akari, you've got the dirty mind. I began feeling a sense of curiosity. No, I was curiosity incarnate. I have a somewhat personal question, if I may.
あかりがそういう時はろくなことを聞かないもの。
No thank you. Every time you've said that, it's been some ridiculous question.
そこをなんとか。でなければ、あかりは気になって毎晩眠れなくなってしまいます。
Oh, but please, if I don't ask you this question, I won't be able to sleep at night. And you should be sleeping at night, Akari.
仕方ないわね。何の話？
Fine then, what did you want to ask?
ズバリ、どうして西目さんとリルーさんは同じ家に住んでいるのですか？
For the record, why are you and Nishime living together in the same house?
それは秘密よ。
That's a secret.
秘密。秘密と言いましたね。秘密ということは、一緒に住んでいること自体は否定しないのですね。
A secret? You said a secret, right? Since it's a secret, you're not denying that you live together, right? I was so excited that I started asking rapid-fire questions. Leland made a somewhat annoyed face at me, but she didn't catch on to all my excitement. I think it's because she's prepared to punch you in the face, Akari. No matter what they said, I finally had the evidence I'd been looking for in my hands. I knew they spent a lot of time together, but they were living together. What? Living together? Ha. Having learned this fact, I calmed down. On Toyotoki Island, it wasn't unheard of for people to get married and live together right after high school. But they aren't married. Well, it's obvious that the people from those stories were madly in love with each other. These two, though, there wasn't any sign of affection. Completely different from what I'd expected.
西目さんのこと好きなんですか？
Do you like Nishime? And I'm gonna think that the answer is no. But let's see how she addresses it. I hit her with one of the questions that I had prepared.
好きって
Like? Leland tilted her head to the side. It seemed like she really didn't know the meaning of the word.
そのですね。好きというのは恋してるかという意味でして。
Yes, how do I put it? To like someone as in to be in love, if that makes more sense? I myself didn't know anything about love, so I was just repeating what I had heard my friends saying. Man alive. So here we are at the girl talk, huh? Such idiots at times. Love is hard. Everyone could agree with that. There's the worry that your feelings won't be reciprocated, the jealousy and fear that they might be talking to somebody else. But love was a happy thing too, like when they reply to you right away on Lime, or when they like your posts on Chirp. Honestly, I want to slug you so bad, Akari. Too many assumptions in that. The point is, the happiness and sadness came in waves. At least that's what I have heard.
全然ないわ。私は心を乱さないよう鍛えているもの。
Not at all. I've been training my heart not to be disturbed by such things. Leland's response came completely out of left field. I had no other choice but to ask an uncomfortable question.
ならですよ。あかりと西目さんが仲良くしていても何も言わないってことですか？
Then let me ask you this. You wouldn't mind if Nishime and I were to get
西
closer?
目さんにはこんなボロい家じゃなくてあかりん家に住んでもらうとか。
Like if he were to start living in my house instead of this beat up place? Maybe I was being a bit too serious about this. Darn it all. You're already exhausting me, Akari. Otherwise, I don't think I would have had the idea of letting Nishime live at my house. After Leland had thought about it carefully, she placed her hand on her chest and responded,
もし光が望むのなら、私に止める権利はないわ。私は置いてもらっているだけだもの。
If that's what Hikaru wants, then I don't have the right to stop him. He's just kind enough to let me stay here's all. She seemed somewhat saddened by that. It was the first time I had seen that expression on her face, and I must admit it made Leland look cute. Perhaps it was because I had realized that she too was just another girl. Since then, I stopped seeing her as a scary person.
それが恋というやつですよ。やはりリルーさんは西目さんが好きなのですね。
That right there, that's love, so you do like Nishime after all. Akari. I want to slug you in the face right now for that. Especially because you remind me of something that I absolutely hated about the culture I grew up in. It's not exactly a one-for-one, but growing up where I did, they would say, if you want answers, then you have to pray for them, and this stuff is what you'll be feeling if you get it right, and this is what will happen if you don't get it right, with the don't get it right part being a stupor of thought or sudden forgetfulness, whereas the other side of it is just normal emotions that you can't really process that well in the moment, and so a lot of times they're like, this is the Holy Ghost that you're feeling. And to tie it back to this, like, Leland did show some sadness about the possibility of Hikaru going somewhere else to live with another girl, but I wouldn't necessarily call that love.
そりゃ好きか嫌いかで言えば好きよ。でもだから何？
I suppose if it was between like and dislike, I would like him, but so what? It felt like I was about to get a nosebleed. At the same time, I understood that Leland really didn't understand the feeling of liking someone. When it came to love, I didn't understand much about it either, though I had heard stories from my friends. Embodying the spirit of love, embodying the spirit of a love professional, I attempted to give Leland some advice. You are not a love professional, Akari.
ふむふむ。好きという気持ちがわからない状態なのですね。
So
今度は何かを知るところから始めると良いでしょう。
So you don't understand what it means to like someone? It would be a good idea to start by knowing what love is. And again, you don't know what love is, Akari.
しかし、西目さんも運のいい男ですね。
Nishime is a
好
lucky
かれるとは。
Nishime is a lucky boy indeed for him to be liked by you.
別に私は光のことが大好きってわけじゃ。あいつ頼りないし。
I don't particularly like him or anything. He's not even that
ここ
reliable.
は同意ですね。けど、いざという時は頼りになるんですよ。
On that, we are in agreement, but I'm sure when push comes to shove, he can be relied on.
なんでそんなこと知ってるのよ。
How would you know that?
それは秘密ですよ。リルーさん、あなたに秘密があるように、あかりにも秘密があるのです。
That's a secret. Just like you have your secrets, I have mine as well. As payback for earlier, I tried to hint at a deeper meaning with my words. It was easy to tell that they had shaken Leland. I turned the tables on her. Several days passed in much the same way. There hadn't been a single amusing thing here on Toyotoki Island until these interesting people came along. Now I was having plenty of fun. Okay, Hikaru. Okay, so it says view change. Hikaru's not as annoying, so let's see how this goes. But first, I want to check things here. Not messages, but just to keep an eye on things. Let's see. It was the day of Hisaku's Got Talent. The weather was sunny, a wonderful day for a festival. The park, which was the venue for the event, had tents lined up all around it. The decorative paper lanterns and the fumes of the generators all created the perfect festival atmosphere. At the meeting point, there was already a crowd of attendees gathered around. To the side of the stage was the waiting room. All of the idols in training were crowded together practicing their self-introductions. The mood was far from bright and colorful. A murderous air filled the room. The idols were warriors and they were ready to fight. Man, everyone's so serious. You sure you don't need to practice?
そんなのいりませんよ。というか、早く始まらないんですかね。
I don't need to practice anymore, but better yet, they should start the show already. Akari was trembling with fear. Hey, don't tell me you're nervous.
何を言うんですか。待ちくたびれて寝てしまいそうなんですが。
What?
なんだか揺れてません。地震ですか。
What are you saying? I'm so tired of waiting, and I'm getting sleepy. But isn't everything shaking? Is there an earthquake? You're the only one shaking here.
何を言うのですか。西目さん。明かりが揺れ。
What are you saying, Nish? That can't be true. You should take a more objective look at yourself. Akari. The other contestants would have murdered her for saying that the competition was nothing but a stepping stone. Yet here she was, cowering in fear. I started to get pretty worried. Contestants, please begin your preparations. And before we knew it, the singing competition was about to begin. The host had received his greeting from the head of the committee in charge of the event. Since we were in the wings, we didn't know how many people were in the audience. But according to the host, it was packed. The spotlights lit up the stage. Akari was about to go toe-to-toe with her competitors. She was supposed to, but... Huh? They're starting already? I mean, that's fine, I'm ready. I wonder what everyone else is thinking. Now I was very worried. What do you want to do, Akari? As I was thinking of something to say, Leland grabbed Akari by the shoulders. She looked directly into Akari's face and asked her straight. Do you want to win? Of course.
勝った自分を想像しなさい。戦士はそうやって恐れを取り除くのよ。
Then you have to imagine yourself winning. That's what warriors do to get rid of all that fear. Leland then gave her a forceful hug. It wasn't a metaphor. Leland was likely talking about actual warriors. The kind that fought in the Sahara or the
それ
Amazon.
なら大丈夫よ。
You'll be just fine.
はい。なんだか頑張れる気がしてきました。
Yes, that makes me feel much better. Akari replied after wiggling around in Leland's cleavage. She was standing with more confidence now. Nice job, Leland. She was a model soldier.
では、行ってきます。
Well then, wish me luck. Don't make me want to slug you in the face even more, Akari. The contestants were called onto the stage. Directions were flying from the staff as they told them to go up in turns. Akari went on stage with determined steps. We cleared the first phase of the operation. I was relieved and then turned my focus to the next task at hand. It's our turn now.
そうね。
Right. There was one more hidden condition for Akari's victory. Getting rid of that group of delinquents who hadn't shown their face since that one day. From what Akari said, it seemed like they were aiming to interfere. They'll certainly try something during the competition, so we needed to interfere with them instead. That was our last task. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's edition of Hisaku's Got Talent is about to begin. What drama will await us? I can't contain my excitement. All the contestants were standing together on stage. The competition was moving along as the host continued to speak. I quickly looked across the venue. Every single folding chair that had been lined up for the audience was filled. There was even a crowd standing behind the chairs. Hundreds of people had come to watch the event. Somewhere within that crowd was a group of delinquents. They were aiming to interfere with Akari's performance. We would never find them by looking through the crowd at random. We had to narrow down our
どうやって
search.
絞るのよ。
How are you going to narrow it down? By predicting their best avenue for avenue of
その
attack.
手段ってのは
Their best avenue being, my guess, they'll use noise and lights. Right. Noise and lights? By using noise, they could interfere with her singing evaluation. They wouldn't be able to avoid getting kicked out for the noise, but it would still put a damper on her final score. If that was their plan, they would need to be close to the stage. The front row, maybe. Directly behind the judges would be our best bet.
光の方は
And if they used lights? It's old school, but they could use a laser pointer. They could aim for her eyes while she was on stage. It would be an effective way to mess her up, with little chance of getting caught. With that plan, it would be best to stay in the back.
つまり一番前か後ろってことね。
So you're saying they'll either be at the very front or at the back then? Basically. Either way, they would have to take positions at the edges of the venue. It's hard to imagine that they would cause any trouble in the middle of the crowd. Which means searching the edges would be the most effective measure. Let's split up and keep an eye out. I'll search the front and you take the back. Leland's clothes stood out, so having her in the back would be best.
何かあったら手を挙げて。
Understood. If something happens, raise one of your hands. Would you even be able to see that?
目はいいのよ。
I have good vision. Well, I don't. I'm not sure if I'll be able to see your hand.
小さい炎を打ち上げるのでどう？
Okay, what if I put up a small flame in my raised hand? If she did that, I could probably see her from far away. As a last resort, it would work. Oh, by the way, the delinquents might have some girls in their ranks, too. Don't let your guard down now. Guard down, okay?
関係ないわ。女も男も落とすだけよ。
Girl or boy, it doesn't matter. I'll take them down the same. I feel like I've heard that line before. From the anime that you guys were watching before. I'll get you drunk on my wicked love. I'm the most wicked guy there is. Girl or boy, it don't matter. I'll take him down the same. It was from the anime we watched with Akari the other day. That makes me wonder if the delinquent had also seen that anime or read the manga. But we'll see. I didn't know she was the type to steal lines from anime. Hey, you boy. At that moment, someone came running. Oh, I'm so glad I was able to find you. It was a man in his 50s. He wore a suit, had his hair combed to the side, and had a small mustache. Distinctive features that I would never forget. It was Akari's butler. The same butler that said masochist things to get a dog moving? What's gotten you in such a hurry? Something terrible has happened. Please make your way to the hospital right away. Hospital? Yes, it's about your mother, Mr. Nishimi. She's been in a car accident. We've prepared a car for you. Please come with me. I thought his mother was dead like his father was, so what's going on really? What? A car accident? Yes. And you're sure that it was my mom that was in the car accident? Well, of course, I heard it from her directly. Again, this butler's lies are too obvious. Not too sure about the rest of you. And her name was Nishime, was it? Yes, I confirmed it as such. The butler was nodding confidently. What a barefaced lie. I had to stop myself from smiling. I guess the butler of a wealthy family like Akari's wouldn't understand. Not all families are picture perfect. My mom's dead. She died 10 years ago. At that moment, the butler's face hardened. His agitation wasn't visible, but it took him a good while to come up with a response. Oh, I'm such an imbecile. I'm afraid that I was horribly mistaken. The one involved in the accident was actually Miss Leland's mother. Alive! Pardon me for getting all the details mixed up. It all happened so sudden. So as you can see, we must make our way to the hospital.
私の母はこの国にいないわ。
My mother isn't in this country. It was hard to believe how quiet he became after acting so flustered a moment ago. His face had become completely serious. The change was so drastic it was creepy. There was something scary about not knowing what he was going to do next. It seemed like he would suddenly take out a knife or something from his pockets. The butler curled his mouth and took out a long and slender item from his breast pocket. Nice tension here. No way, is that an actual knife? But as I thought that, he began fixing his hair. Oh my gosh, it wasn't a knife, it was a comb. Now I'm thinking of Spaceballs for some reason, even though that's not how it went. It's in this, the end. Running around without your mothers nearby? Quite the pair of friends you turned out to be. I had told Miss Akari over and over that she should be more selective of the people she associates with. Well, that's rude. Sounds like you're disrespecting us. And if I am, would that be a problem? I don't care, so it turns out the butler was behind it all along. Why? What could you possibly mean? You're the mastermind behind the plan to sabotage Akari. That's why you wanted to drive us away from the venue. It made sense, considering what Akari said about her family's manipulative tendencies. You've caught me. You're quite right. This was my plan all along. Why would you do such a thing? So Akari could focus on her studies, of course. One of my duties is to make sure Miss Akari keeps her grades up. However, our beloved Akari hasn't been devoting herself to her studies. Instead, she chooses to waste her time playing around. And now I kind of want to punch the butler in the face. Because Wooly does have a point that she's playing around a lot. Nobody really knows for sure what's important anymore or not either, so that's kind of why I want to punch him. To top it all off, she's attempting to win Hisaku's Got Talent and nab herself a ticket to Disneyland. I cannot allow you to brainwash Miss Akari with such fruitless wastes of time as playing and having fun. Oh my gosh. I want to punch him even more right now. If she were to go to Tokyo, who do you think would be her chaperone? What a pain that would be. It sounded like he cared more about himself than he did Akari. It all basically lined up with Akari's theory. Still, to think they'd actually hired delinquents, I'll never understand these rich people. You don't know why Akari entered the singing competition, do you? I don't need to know. Besides, that has nothing to do with the both of you. As long as Miss Akari stays on this island and focuses all of her attention on her studies, I am satisfied. So you're trying to stop her without even considering why she's doing this in the first place. I'm not impressed. And I also find him to be apathetic. I could say the same about you, Mr. Nishime. We glared at each other for a while, like swordsmen ready to duel. Still, it wasn't guaranteed that something would happen. Why is he taking so long? Wait a second. Maybe there's a reason why he's taking so long. Is he trying to kill time with this staring contest? It was possible. The butler might be the mastermind, but the delinquents were the ones carrying out the actual plan. The plan was already set in motion. But how would they do it? I know, simple deduction. If the butler is behind this, he wouldn't want to harm Akari. A laser pointer, on the other hand, could blind her, which meant their only other option is to make noise. Leland, they're going to make noise. Head to the front row.
わかったわ。
Got it. They dispatched Leland to the scene. If this doesn't upset him, my next guess was that they planned to display a banner with obscenities on it. Oh my gosh. The butler's face gave it away. It's not right of you letting a lady go off on her own like that. And you know any better, Mr. Butler? What can I say? I need to stay here and keep an eye on you. You're too smart for your own good. I'm afraid I'll have to get my hands dirty after all. Take care of that boy. Before I knew it, a guy had appeared next to the butler. After the butler ordered him to confront me, he disappeared into the crowd. Uh-oh, not good. He's going to get his hands dirty. I can't just let the butler go free. But this guy was in the way. Long time no see, pal. The guy with the undercut and shiny silver necklace. The leader of the group of delinquents. The guy who threw the first punch on that day in the park. Now that Leland wasn't here, there wasn't anything scarier than an opponent who would quickly turn to violence. Where's that? Where's that bitch of yours? I have some payback for last time. She's not here, you wouldn't be able to win anyways. That girl is like a freaking cyborg. Girl or boy, it don't matter, I'll take him down the same. No, seriously, you wouldn't. Can it, pal? I'm the most wicked guy there is. Yep, he's gotta watch the anime. He put his fists up. He was about to make me his punching bag. I'll get you drunk on my wicked love. I was about to get pummeled. But strangely, I was cool and composed. Rather, there was something that bothered me. He'd been using a lot of weird one-liners. If it was just once or twice, I could let them slide. But hearing it a third time, I was convinced. I had just heard one earlier. Too, there's no way this could be a coincidence. Could it be? No, seriously, this guy? Ready to die, huh? Take this. Here we go. I don't have time to hesitate. I'll just say it. Reincarnated girl. The delinquent stopped in his tracks when I quietly mentioned the anime title. I knew it! Not too sure about the rest of you, but I knew it. Should I throw in the name of the main character too? Ryu Kuronoha. The way he's sounding makes me think of Masato from Little Busters here. I don't know what you're talking about. I never asked if you did. Girl, boy, it don't matter. I'll take him down the same. I'll get you drunk on my wicked love. I'm the most wicked guy there is. All of them were lines from the anime. Akari's favorite reincarnated girl. The only question was, why would this delinquent know? But this was the reality. Those are some killer lines. Yeah, right. Ryu Kuronoha always has the best ones. Oh? So you know that Ryu Kuronoha is a character then? God. How is it that you know the character of a late-night anime? Could you perhaps be, oh, I don't know, an otaku? No way, man. So why then? I just happened to come across the anime. Just a normal guy that watches anime with young girls in them. That's totally possible. No, it isn't. In what world is that possible? I mean, seriously, even if I gave you the benefit of the doubt, you're reusing lines from an anime. In real life, you're a total... Don't say it! Ryu is trying to live her best life, alright? She's doing the best she can. She's holding on to what little pride she's got, and she's doing the best she can. Someone like you would never understand. The guy is desperately defending an anime character. What an unexpected turn of events. Well, I kinda get it. I mean, it's a good anime. Right, that's why I need to keep it a secret that you're a fan. Sorry, bud. It's not gonna to happen. I wonder how your friends are gonna react once I tell them about this. Please just keep this between us. He was begging. A desperate plea that masked this guy's overwhelming rage. What's up with this guy? Though we reached somewhat of a resolution, I didn't have the skills to close the deal. This fortunate resolution might only be temporary, depending on how things turn out. He might beat me up anyway. Oh, maybe I'll use that. Speaking of which, I got a deal for you. What? I have something you might want. A doujin magazine about an alternate ending where Ryu Kuronoha and Shiromi Izunotake Tenshi end up together. The farewell gift that my friend had given me before I moved. If you helped us out, I could probably lend it to you. The delinquent suddenly grabbed me. It was so sudden I couldn't avoid it. I want to read that! The guy shouted out. Incredible, my plan actually worked. To think that a magazine collecting dust on my bookshelf would come in handy like this. Not even God could have predicted such development. I'll chalk it up to the unknown void. So, do we have a deal? I gently held out my right hand. Sure. He grabbed it firmly with his large hand. We had come to a deal. And this is how Undercut became our partner. The situation came to a smooth resolution. Since we had won over the leader of the group, his underlings automatically became our allies. Through Undercut's order to stop the plan, our final mission was complete. The butler, disturbed by the fact that he had been betrayed by his henchmen, tried to rush onto the stage, but yet again violence solved the issue. Akari's performance had been protected. We were pleased as can be. Everything was settled peacefully. Though Leland seemed a bit annoyed that she had no chance to do anything. Did you hear Kari's song?
いいえ、気づいたら終わってたわ。
Nope, when I noticed she had finished singing. Hisaku's Got Talent continued without any problems. The judges were counting up the votes. While that was happening, the contestants were waiting for the results on the stage. You could feel the contrast in moods between the cheerful host and the nervous contestants. We left the issue of the butler to the delinquents. As long as Akari's performance wasn't interfered with, we didn't care how it was done. When we told them that, the delinquents took the butler to the mountains. Oh my gosh! I want to imagine the butler being dragged off like Mace Hughes. It felt like we were looking into the abyss. So all that was left to hear, the result was to hear the results of the contest. We really hoped that she won. Sorry to keep you all waiting, it's time to announce the winner of the 7th annual Hisaku Island Firefly Festival's Hisaku's Got Talent singing competition. Finally, the winner was being announced. As usual, the host announced the results starting with 3rd place. As a regular audience member, I probably wouldn't have thought anything of it, but since we knew someone in the running, the suspense is killing us. Can you change the rules just this once and announce the winners starting with 1st place? Would that be too much to ask? It probably would be, huh? I looked at the stage. All the contestants were praying with their hands held together. All but Akari, who was just standing there whistling. If she lost this way, she would look really bad. Well, an uneasy feeling passed over me. There was someone missing on stage who should have been there. Goldilocks, the self-proclaimed archenemy of Akari. She had announced that she was entering Hisaku's Got Talent. I thought for sure she'd be up there, but she was nowhere to be seen. As I pondered about which potential reasons, a momentary gap appeared in my brain, and the host announced the winner of the contest in that gap. 1st place goes to contestant number 4, Akari Akatsumi. I couldn't react right away.
やったわよ。
She won! She tapped my back and I finally started to feel it. That girl Akari, she really did it, huh? Way to go!
見ていましたか、西目さん。ちょ
Did
い
you
ちょいと優勝してきましたよ。
Did you see I took 1st place? Akari held up her 1st place trophy in the air triumphantly. She also had floral necklaces around her neck. It looks like you won, huh? I didn't get to watch your performance, though.
何をしていたんですか？
What? What were you doing? We were dealing with our delinquent problem. I caught her up on the whole situation, including the fact that it had been her butler who had been behind it all. Hearing all the details brought a shadow to her once smiling
事
face.
情は把握しました。おおむね想像通りでしたが、執事が東京へ引率するつもりだったのは厄介ですね。
I fully understand the situation now. It was just as I imagined, but I can't believe that my butler planned on coming to Tokyo with me. Looking at it like that, you probably wouldn't have been allowed to go to Tokyo.
まあ、その辺はおいおい考えましょう。
Well, let's
疲れました。
well, let's think about that more another time. I'm exhausted.
はい。西目さんにも優勝をお裾分けしてあげます。
Now, let me share a bit of the victory with you. Kari put her flower necklace around my neck. What should I do with
あ
this?
かりはチケットさえ手に入ればいいので、花飾りもトロフィーもいりません。
As long
大変
as
ですし、 あげます。
As long as I get those resort tickets, I'm okay. I don't need the flowers or the trophy. Throwing them away wouldn't be good, so I'll give them to you. My gosh, she is single-minded here. Was I a trash can to her? And that's why we send her to the trash ourselves. Good luck with the audition. Come back with good
ここまで
news.
来て落ちるなんて無様な姿はさらしませんよ。
I will not subject myself to the embarrassment of coming all this way just to drop the ball at the audition. Even though you were trembling with fear this morning.
それは言わない約束ですよ。
What happened to our pact about never speaking about that? Akari went for a punch to my gut. I flexed my abs and protected against the attack. Ad guard. At that moment, I had a sudden premonition. The job she gave us ended today, but I felt that we would still be made to stick around with her. At worst, it felt that we would be kept around till at least after the audition. And then that premonition was quickly dispelled. 2 black luxury cars had parked at the entrance of the park. Men in black suits started getting out of them one by one. The group didn't come off as men who worked a respectable job. As we wondered what those men were thinking, they came towards us. Don't tell me this was the Butler's Revenge Army. Nah, this was different. They had a strange vibe to them. An intimidating mass of people stood in front of me. And as I thought that, they took half a step aside and created a path. Someone was walking toward us on that path. It was a small figure. It was a girl. It was Goldilocks who lost the rap battle yesterday, wasn't it? She wore pink clothes. I only thought it was a girl because of the clothes she had on. If I only looked at her face, I wouldn't have been able to tell the gender. What? And that was because she had shaved off all her hair, leaving a completely bald head. Okay, what's her angle here? She was also younger than I thought. Maybe in her 20s, nah, maybe her teens.
あなたは
Ah, there you are. The girl in the dress stood right in front of Akari. Then she continued.
招集令が出ていましたよ。一緒に来ていただけませんこと？
You have been summoned. Would you come with me, please? That way of speaking, it was Goldilocks. Nah, there's no way it was her. That's not right. Where did her golden locks go? Why did she cut off all her hair?
あかりは行きたくありません。
I don't want to go.
逆らうことは許されませんわ。本家の命です。
Going against the summons is not permissible. It's a direct order from the head family.
本家
The head family? All the blood drained from Akari's face. I knew that something bad was taking place here. But I couldn't break free from the confusion and just stood there.
そうですか。
I see. Akari nodded powerlessly and followed after Goldilocks. The muscular men began surrounding them. This was so bizarre. No matter how you thought about it, it was bizarre. But I couldn't do anything about it. The option to act didn't even come to mind.
あかり、本当に行くの？こいつらは誰？
Akari, are you really going and who are they? It was Leland who acted. She stood in front of the men. Akari looked back with sluggish movements.
この方々は身内です。どうか安心してください。
Yes, I know all of these people. Please don't worry about me.
それは本当信じていいのよね。
Is that the truth? We can believe you, right?
部外者が口を挟まないでいただけませんこと？
Could we request that those not involved keep out of the conversation? Leland's questioning was stopped by the former Goldilocks. Even now, her previous extravagant hairstyle is still etched in my mind. The girl who now was missing her hair looked like a completely different person. What happened? What in the world could have led to that? No one gave us any answers. In the meantime, Akari was placed in one of the black luxury cars and was taken away somewhere. Akari's flower necklace was still resting on my neck. It seemed that the weather had changed and now there was a strong wind coming from the sea. The dago flowers in the necklace were dancing in the wind. Still, all I could do was stand motionless. We went home without knowing what happened. All our party preparations went to waste. What the hell was up with them? The one leading that group of men was Akari's archenemy Goldilocks. She'd always been pulling rich daughter moves, but she suddenly shaved off all her hair, making herself bald. Something had to have happened to her. It happened for her to do that. I couldn't come to a conclusion with my own imagination. Leland had also kept quiet ever since the incident. There was a gloomy air in the house. Right then a guest appeared. Standing at the door was Undercut. Why are you here?
貸してくれる約束だったろ?
You promised to lend me that book, right? He was talking about the Dojing magazine. It seemed like he wanted to read it so much that he came all the way here to take it. There's no way, right? Why are you really here?
情報提供をしてやる。
I came to pass on information. About what?
赤積あかりを連れて行ったのは大里家の連中だ。君左伝が坊主だったのを見てもまず間違いない。
The group that took Akatsumi was the Osato family. Seeing how the Kunsaden girl was bald, there's no doubt about it. Okay. I wonder what's going on now. Osato. Who are they?
やっぱり知らねえんだな。よそ者がいるって噂はマジだったらしいな。
So you don't know them, huh? The rumors of outsiders being on the island were really true. Being outsiders has nothing to do with it. Who are the Asato family?
豊島を昔から支配してる偉い奴らだよ。
They're a
出てこないが、村長より偉いって話だ。
They're a bunch of elites who've controlled Toyotoki Island for a long time. They don't appear publicly, but I heard they have more power than the island mayor. Hearing of these elites that don't appear publicly made me think of some kind of shadowy cabal. But what? But of what kind? I have no clue. What relation does Akari have to the Asato family, and what are they after here?
さあな、俺はただ犯人を知ってる。
Hold on.
あとはお前が調べな。
Okay, good. That gives me a better view of the mic details there. Beats me. I only know that they're the ones who took her. The rest is for you to figure out. He was keeping his distance. Something about all this was fishy. Why are you telling us this?
本を借りる礼だ。
As thanks for lending me that book. You're not looking to backstab us, are
俺
you?
は雇われただけだ。おっさんに義理立てする理由はね。
Look, I was hired to do a job. I don't have any more reason to help them out. with that undercut left. In the end, he didn't borrow the book. I couldn't say that he didn't have a motive to lie to us. But since he made the trip all the way here, I believed him. The Sato family. They had more influence than the island mayor. I decided I would look into them right away. Do you know the Sato family? Well, I am curious about them, but I think he's gonna get himself in neck deep by doing this. Huh? Where's this coming from? I was just a bit curious. When speaking of distinguished families, history came to mind, and from there I thought of seniors. And the only one I could trust was Yasan. He seemed a little suspicious when I asked him straight up, but he gave me the full explanation. The Osato family is the oldest family on Toyotoki Island. You know the mountains on the north side of the island? Those are theirs. Whoa, the whole area? The story had an impact right from the get-go. The mountains that took up a good portion of the island turned out to be private land. There's no way, right? So that's the reason it said they control the island? Ah, that'd be for a different reason. The Asato family is Donchi. Donchi. Donchi, it's a term used for families that have ties to the great Kenjuna. Kenjuna? Yeah, it's spelled like it sounds. Oh. These Kenjuna are, well, simply put, like priestesses. A priestess, like in the shrines? Yeah, them, and in Okinawa, there are Kenjuna priests. His son explained further when he saw my blank face. First, hundreds of years ago, Okinawa was actually an independent country called the Ryukyu Kingdom. It became part of Japan around when the Satsuma domain invaded it during the Edo period. Ryukyu Shinto was the religion of the former Ryukyu Kingdom. Since it's Okinawa Prefecture now, there are temples and shrines, but originally there wasn't anything like that. When they prayed, it was to the fire god Hinukan, or at Utaki. Utaki? You can think of them as sacred places. They'd go there to offer prayers. When I heard him say that, I imagined something like a shrine, but Utaki didn't have anything man-made. They were sacred locations found in nature. It was said that there were 5 on Toyotoki Island. So in the end, what is Donchi? Donchi are lineages that stem from the Noro. Noro? Another word I've never heard of before. I mentioned the Kenjuna are like priestesses, but they have different ranks. It's said that the higher a priestess's rank, the stronger their extraordinary power to possess gods would be. A high-ranking one like that would be known as the Noro Priestess. They are only chosen from the families that the Ryukyu dynasty deemed acceptable. To be sworn in, one needed the permission of the dynasty. Donchi lineage also indicated indicated families that produced special talents. For the case of a Noro Donchi, that would mean the lineage produces Noro priestesses. Just being one of them meant that you were great. But the Asato family's different. They're royalty by blood. They're of Kanjuna lineage that are one level above and were given a special name. The scale of the story got even grander. The Osato family was connected to the Rikyu dynasty. How great are they then? First, at the highest rank of Kanjuna were the Kikyo Oinokimi, the greatest Kanjuna, and they reigned over the country. These were selected from the women closest to the emperor, like the eldest daughter. Below that were those stationed at Shuri Castle, the three who managed religious services, the Oma Ushirare, and the ones below them, the Oma, administered different regions. The Noro priestesses were the Kanjuna just below them, and were in charge of different parts of land. Explained like this, the Noro's rank seemed low, but they were similar to the Japanese feudal lords who controlled territory. Even if they were nameless, they were powerful landowning families. And normally those of Noro lineage did not receive a proper name. Only some prominent families received them from the dynasty. The Osato family was one of those. Kimi Narai, that's the name bestowed to the Osato family. If you trace back through recorded history, through the 16th century political disturbance, the family has continued for almost 500 years, give or take. For the mainland, it was the Sengoku period. It kind of felt like they could be the descendants of Oda Nobunaga or Sanada Yukimura. By the way, there are no families of Danshi lineage that have a proper name on Hisaku Island. The area and the population of Hisaku Island and Toyotoki Island are vastly different. But looking at them at the time, Toyotoki Island, which had Kanjuna with proper names living there, was considered to have a high rank. Many people come from Hisaku Island to offer prayers at the Toyotoki, for example. I tried to simplify the story for myself. Perhaps the Asato family were owners of shrines, great people who controlled the shrine, landowners who had mountains. They certainly gave off a sense of greatness, but according to what Undercut was saying, they controlled the island, and so putting it that way felt like an exaggeration. That ain't an exaggeration at all. That's what his son said. I said they can possess the gods, right? I meant it that way. What does it mean to possess the gods? It means to become them. The priest of a shrine is, after all, just the administrator of the grounds. The worshippers come to pray to the gods that are deified there, not the owners. On the other hand, if a high-level Kanjuna can possess gods, they become gods themselves. The Asato family could bring about the god known as Kiminarai. Gods are the object of worship, an absolute existence. But that's ancient history, right? That might have been true in Showa era, but we're in the Reiwa era now, right? That's Tokyo thinking, and here we go by this reasoning. Isan was resolute. Toyotoki Island was a closed-off island. It didn't take influence from the outside world. Here, only time had moved forward. So what does that mean? The concept of God is still real here. I couldn't help but be astonished at it all, but I had come from the outside and had no right to deny this place's culture. The Asato family's always been on top on Toyotoki Island. Whether controlled by the Satsuma, annexed by the Japanese Empire, or invaded by the US, it's too isolated to be influenced at all. So the Asato family continued their rule. A rule that spanned over 500 years. But it doesn't feel that way. It's been 2 months since I've come to the island, but I didn't know about the Asato family at all. Well, it ain't like they're doing anything special. They aren't doing anything. Nah, they give directions to the mayor, control their land, that kind of thing. They can do anything, but they usually don't do nothing. That's a huge lie. Akari has been taken away and Goldilocks went bald. Does that count as not doing anything? I decided to get right to the point. Would you know any reason why the Asato family would take Akari away? If they were gathering people, I can only guess it's for some ritual. At the heart of the Asato family was their high-ranking Juno lineage. Yasan said that if they were making moves in public, then that's what it had to be for. A ritual. In other words, some religious event. And they summoned Akari and Goldilocks for it, and made her bald. I couldn't see why. Shaving a girl's hair for a religious event? You can't say it doesn't happen. But to take them away by car, that's a little overboard. On top of that, I can't imagine that Goldilocks would want to shave her head. Since the first time we met her, she was bragging about her hair. There has to be more to this. They have to have some kind of motive. I wanted to dig a little deeper into the matter, but I couldn't get anything more from Yasan. I gave him my thanks and made my way home. I had new information. I also got a glimpse at how the islanders think, but I didn't know what had actually happened. It wouldn't be good to just sit idly by. That's what my gut was telling me. I could only confirm the facts by asking the people involved. I asked Leland and she reached out to Akari. Leland had previously borrowed a phone from her, and luckily she still had it on hand. When we called, no one picked up, but when we sent her a message, there was a quick reply. We told her we wanted to see her, and she replied saying we could meet at night. It seemed like her situation made it difficult for her to leave her house during the day. We waited for nightfall before making our way to the park. No one came here during the day, and at night it felt even more desolate. The playground had been neglected for a long time and was covered in grass. Rather than a place for children to play, it looked more like it was haunted. Akari waited for us at this creepy place. She wasn't bald. Just seeing that made me feel better for now.
びっくりしましたよ。急に会いたいなんて。
I was so surprised seeing your message saying you wanted to see me. That's our line. We were shocked to see you suddenly abducted like you were. I mean, Goldilocks was bald and...
あれはあかりも驚きました。まさかの展開でしたね。
That surprised me as well. It was an unexpected development. Did something
いろ
happen?
いろあったのですが、そうですね。
Various
謝罪をしなければなりません。
things, but first I have to apologize. Apologize?
はい。お二人とも、すみませんでした。
Yes, to the both of you, I'm sorry for
あ
everything.
かりはアイドル声優にはなれなくなりました。
It turns out that I cannot become a voice actress. I was struck by surprise and confusion at the same time. She can't become a voice actress? Why? Why? You've been working so hard for that.
頑張るとか、頑張らないとか、もうそういう次元ではないんです。
It has nothing to do with whether I had worked hard for it or not.
西目さん、あかりはノロになるんです。
I am set to become a Noro priestess. A Noro priestess. I had just learned about them from his song. Wasn't that a high-ranked Kanjuna who controls a certain region? Why do you have to...
よく知っていますね。だったら、理由もわかりそうなものですが。
Oh, you know quite a bit, huh? If that's the case, then you already know why. Don't tell me your family is...
あかりの家は大里家の分家。ノロ分地なのです。
Yes, we are a branch of the Asato family. We are of the Norodonchi lineage. If the Asato family was related to the Ryukyu dynasty by blood, those branch families would also be distant royalty. If I'm unlucky, I could be a collateral descendant. I can see why, then. Goldilocks' family is the same, right?
ご明察。
That's an astute observation. There were two Norodonchi lineages on Toyotoki Island. The Akutsumi family and the Kunsunden family. In other words, Akari's and Goldilocks's. Both are branches of the Asato family, making them high-ranking lineages. After hearing that, I could also see why Goldilocks saw Akari as a rival. It was a feud between two branch families. What do you have to do specifically after becoming a
君
priestess?
習い様の補佐と聞いています。
I heard that I would be an assistant to the Kiminarai. If it's just assisting, then you could do that while voice
でき
acting.
ませんよ。
I wouldn't be able to. Why
豊
not?
時島のノロは、一度なったら30歳まで辞めることはできないんです。
Once you become a Noro priestess on Toyotoki Island, you can't quit until you are
そ
30.
の間、結婚、会員、就業が禁止され、剃髪が義務となります。
During that time, marriage, intercourse, and employment are not allowed, and tonsure is required. I wonder if they're gonna explain that like they explain the rest.
ね。声優なんて無理でしょ。
So that's why becoming a voice actress is out of the question. Marriage, intercourse, employment. I had to look up one of those words. And when I did, I was astonished by the depth of the job. Human rights organizations also had surprising lists of things that they prohibited. Maybe back in the day, but now?
決まりですから。
But it's one of my family's customs, rules, customs, traditions. So she's forbidden? I nod in agreement. It's all I could do in the moment. If it was difficult time-wise, it would be rough, but she could make it work. If it's prohibited, that's it. Reality hits you when you least expect it. She seemed to be at a stage in her life where she couldn't chase her dreams anymore. This was different from parents making their children take over the family business. In that situation, since it's a family issue, they can all talk about it and come to a conclusion that way. Akari's situation was different. She was being suppressed by the Sato's immense power. Becoming a Noro priestess on Toyotoki Island meant devoting yourself completely, mind and body. She would have to remain bald from her age until she was 30. She wouldn't be able to get a job, or fall in love and get married. This lineage, this history, this tradition that has continued uninterrupted for hundreds of years was being dropped on Akari's shoulders. And these people had the power to command a high schooler to shave her hair, wrap herself in traditional white robes, and pray every day. Put less charitably, that's what it becomes. It's the same as what malicious parents do to their children. But in that case, Child Protective Services would come rushing in claiming child abuse. But who could come? But who could come for Hikari? There was no service that would help. No one would blame the adults, because what they were doing wasn't wrong. But was that true? This is putting it bluntly. Wouldn't everything be the same if there weren't any Noro priestesses around? They're just hiring assistants for the Kiminarai. It shouldn't matter that they're not young. It's a job that anyone can do.
西目さんは外の人だからわからないんですよ。
Nishime, you don't understand because you're an outsider. I don't understand. What am I missing?
ノロは、君習い様は、島人の誇りなんです。
The Noro priestesses, the Kiminarai, they're the pride of the islanders. Hikari continued. The Kanjuna priestesses were the bridges for the ancestral spirits. The Noro priestesses had the power to communicate with the gods. In the case of a mother who lost her child, a priestess could communicate the mother's love and regrets to the child's spirit. They can let a man who lost his wife know that she's praying for him to live a healthy life. A Noro priestess was involved with life and death. They carry the sadness and hatred of the islanders and devote their life to relieving them. This is the life mission imposed on the Noro priestesses. They are the embodiment of tradition and history, while at the same time serving as saviors to the islanders. Only those living here could understand such cultural and religious backgrounds. I couldn't even grasp such things at all. The environment that I was raised in wasn't like that. My aunt's household, like the majority of people living in the city, wasn't religious at all. They believed that money, math, and science made the world go round. I also had been instilled with those values. There was no way I could understand this island.
ノロが行う儀式はどういう術式なの？
What are the methods that the Noro priestesses use to conduct their ceremonies? Leland asked with an extremely serious face. Hikari, who seemed to not understand the meaning of the question, blinked a few
詳し
times.
くは聞いていませんが、神々に祈りを捧げることが、主に祭祀になるのだと思います。
I haven't heard the suffix, but the main rituals involve offering prayers to the gods, I think.
神殿の連中と同じね。
It's the same as those people in the temples.
はい？
Huh?
祈ったところで神は加護なんて与えない。自己満足よ。
God doesn't offer divine protection through just prayer. That's just for
外の人
self-satisfaction.
からすれば、そう見えるのも無理はないかもしれませんね。
If you look at it as someone from the outside, it might be reasonable for it to seem like that. I wonder if the people Leland mentioned were connected to magic. Her understanding is off, but strangely, they could still hold a conversation.
あかりは諦めるの。
So you're going to give up then?
今、言った通りですよ。リルーさん、決まったことですから。
It's like I've said, Leland. It has already been decided. I have no
あかりは
choice.
どうしたいの？
What do you want to do, Akari? And I'm glad that Leland's going this route here because the way that she's being forced to live and such, Akari here, does make me feel sad for her, and reminds me of the talk surrounding Socrates and the unexamined life.
それは別にいいじゃないですか。もう
That doesn't matter anymore. Answer me. Leland wasn't giving in. She moved to block any possible escape. She grabbed Akari by the face and made her look
黙
up.
らないで。
Don't stay silent.
やめてください。あかりが何を思っていようが関係ないじゃないですか。
Cut this out. What I think doesn't matter
それを
anymore.
決めるのはあかりじゃないわ。
You're the one who gets to decide that.
話してください。
Let me go.
やりたいのか、やりたくないのか。答えたら話すわ。
Do you want to give up or not? I'll let go once you answer me. Akari started struggling, but Leland's grip was unyielding. Eventually she stopped. Then came silence. A heavy awkwardness hung in the air.
たくない。
I don't want to.
聞こえないわ。
I can't hear you.
たくない。
I don't want to get
もう一度。
one more time.
あかりは諦めたくないんです。
I don't want to give up.
あかりは声優になりたいんです。ずっとその夢を見てきたんです。
I want to be a voice actress. I've dreamed of that for so
でも
long.
仕方ないじゃないですか。
But I don't have a choice anymore, do I? You always have a choice, Akari. The only time that you don't have a choice is when nature throws something at you.
誰も彼一人としてそれを認めてくれなかったんですから。
No one, not one person acknowledged that.
誰かに話したの？
Did you talk to anyone about it?
話しましたよ。ノロになんかなりたくないんだって。やりたいことがあるんだって。
I did. I told them that I didn't want to become a Nora priestess. I told them there was something I wanted to do.
でも自分の置かれた立場を理解しろって叩かれて。
But they told me to understand the position I was in, and then they slapped me. Reading all this, it makes sense thinking about it because Japan is a collectivist society, so this is an understandable struggle, but still, this is why I keep saying, and a lot of people keep saying, you only lose when you only truly lose when you give up.
誰もあかりの言うことなんか聞いてくれなくて。
No one listened to what I was saying.
お母さんもノロになるのはすごいことだからおめでとうって。
See, not even my mother. All she did was congratulate me, saying that it was a great honor to become a Noro priestess. Akari didn't have anyone on her side. Everyone wanted to make her a Noro priestess. It would cause them all problems if she didn't. The adults blocked her escape path with good intentions and tied her down with an atmosphere of celebration.
今さらあかりが何を言っても変わらないんです。
It's already too late. I can't say anything to change the situation.
だったらせめて忘れようと思って。
That's why
できなくて。
That's why I tried. I tried to forget about my dreams, but I couldn't. You don't think that you could talk to them about it one more time?
聞くような人たちじゃないんです。
They're not the kind of people to listen.
もう決まったことだって言ったじゃないですか。
Haven't I been saying that it's decided already?
今回でも議題に出て父が承認したんですよ。
The topic was discussed at an island meeting and my father agreed to
撤
it.
回するにはまた臨時集会を開いて撤回案を出して決議して。
To appeal the decision, they'd need to have another meeting. Submit the appeal, and then the board would have to vote on
本
it.
家の意向なのに逆らえる人なんて一人もいないのに。
Because it's the intention of the head family, there isn't anyone who could oppose the
どう
decision.
やっても無理なんですよ。
No matter what I do, nothing will change. Well, Akari, nothing's going to change if you give up right now.
明日には髪を剃るんです。
They're shaving my hair off tomorrow.
そんな状態じゃ、来週のオーディションにも行けません。高校も辞めることになります。
I wouldn't be able to go to the audition next week looking like that. I have to drop out of high school.
それで、あかりの人生は終わるんです。
Just like that, my
何
life...
も残らないんです。
Just like that, my life is over. There's nothing
あ
left.
と15年したら、あかりは30歳になって、ようやく自由になって、ハゲのままでやっと島から出られて、
In 15 years, once I become 30, I'll be free again, and with my bald head, I will finally get to leave this island.
そうしたら、
And then... Akari was crying like crazy. Leland, who is still holding her head, embraced her silently. I looked on, completely dumbfounded. I didn't know what to say. Akari's dream had been stolen from her. And not just that, it was her whole future. She would have to pray for her family, pray for her history, and pray to God. Akari, after 15 years, would become a 30-year-old bald woman without any romantic experience. She wouldn't have a past she could reflect on. No high school, college, or career experience to speak of. Once you pass things like that, there's no going back. The fall would be as huge as her dreams. Even if she landed in a life that was wealthier than mine, I wouldn't feel anything but pity for her. I wanted to tell her she could leave it to me. If I had the power, I could help. But in reality, I didn't have that. I didn't have anything.
事情は理解したわ。
I understand your situation. In place of my powerless self, Leland spoke. She continued as she tenderly rubbed Akari's back.
助けてほしいの。
Do you want us to help you? What?
あかりの周りの奴らが言っていることと、あかりがオーディションに行きたいことは別の話よ。行きたいのならば、言えばいい。
What those around you are saying and you wanting to go to your audition are two different conversations. If you want to go, you should say
行
so.
ってどうするんですか？
If I did, what would
連れて行
happen?
ってあげるわ。
We'd take you to
行き
Tokyo.
ませんよ。
I wouldn't be able to
でき
go.
るわ。
Yes, you can. Leland spoke decisively. Because she had power. I wouldn't be able to do anything. No one else could. Except Leland. Because magic had the power to bend reason as it saw fit. The Magical Assistance Service. That's why we started that business. This girl is the real deal. I really think she could do something about
そ
this.
んなことありえませんよ。
That's impossible. It's possible. You can bet on it. I followed up what Leland was saying. I felt that my role was to
迷
encourage.
惑をかけることになります。
I would cause you trouble. Don't worry about it. We can't get any poorer than we already are. What's
い
wrong?
え、それを聞いてほっとしました。
Nothing. Just hearing that made me feel
今よ
better.
り貧乏になれないなら、西目さんにはいくら迷惑をかけても平気ですね。
As long as you don't get any poorer, I could and cause you all the trouble in the world and things would be okay, right, Nishime? The smile returned to her face. It was still moist from her tears. I patted her head. One way or another, we had to do something. That was how I really felt. I bought everything you asked for. When I held out the plastic bag of groceries, Leland nodded, looking pleased. Not too shabby. What are you going to do with them?
魔法よ。
Magic. With these things?
そうよ。あんた
Yeah.
は下がってなさい。
Yeah, now go away. What? Leland took the bag and shut herself in her room. We talked big when we told Akari to leave everything to us, but now I was getting a bit worried. Will she be able to do it? Will she produce the correct magic? I had bought around 2 pounds of chicken meat.
西目さん、一体これから何が始まるんですか？
Nishime, what on earth is going to
魔
happen?
法とか言いませんでしたか？
Nishime, what on earth is going to happen now? Did she say something about magic? Akari, who was even more worried than me, was waiting in the living room. Well, something like that. If you suddenly go out and buy 2 pounds of chicken and then start talking about magic or something, anyone would question your sanity. I really wanted to relieve her worries, but not even I knew what magic Leland was going to use. She might have said that. It's a bit suspicious, huh?
自覚があるなら説明してください。
I am
説
aware.
明を要求します。
I am aware of what she said, so please tell me what's going on. I demand an explanation. Okay, okay. But even having said that, I wasn't sure where to start. For now, I'll start from the time we saved that dog. When we flew through the sky. We went to the neighboring island in one jump. So that happened.
いや、ですね。あまりには西目さんの創作小説のプロットを聞いている暇などないのです。
Hey, come on, I don't have the time to listen to the plot of your upcoming
他に
novel.
も大切な話をするときは、ビッグバンの話から始めますので、人のことは言えませんが、ここまで切迫しているときは、さすがにビッグバンははしょります。
When I talk about something important, I like to start with the big bang, so I'm not one to talk, but I'm in a tight spot right now, so let's cut the stories.
本当のことを教えてください。
So please tell me what is really going on. What I just told you is real. It really is. Look, if you want to run away, the door's right there. I won't be mad.
ここにいます。なんだかんだで悪い人たちだとは思えないので。
No, I'm staying right here. You two don't seem like bad people or anything, so... She clearly didn't want to leave. She seemed to be trusting us. Okay, to be honest, I have no idea what she's up to either. But it'll all work out, don't
嘘
worry.
でもいいので、安心できる言葉が欲しかったのですが。
It's okay to lie, you know. Hearing sweet words will put me at ease.
あかり、こっちに来なさい。
Akari, come over here. Leland seemed to have finished her preparations. We entered her room. It had been cleaned up really well. Most of her things were gone and all that remained was a coffee table. The lights were off. The curtains were drawn so there wasn't any light coming in from outside. The only thing illuminating the room was a candle sitting on the table. When my eyes got used to the darkness, I noticed talisman-like slips of paper attached to each corner. They were usually large, as long as someone's arm. It seemed like there was something written on them, but it was too dark to read them.
髪の毛と唾液、それから経血をちょうだい。
Give me some of your hair, some saliva, and then some menstrual blood. What is going on with this one, Leland? Can't it just be any blood? Leland said something absurd, so I gave her a chop to the top of her head. You couldn't come up with a better way to say that? What are you talking about? What you're asking for is super weird. You're going to freak her out.
西目さん、大丈夫です。
It's okay.
ルーさんを信じています。
It's okay, Nishime. I trust Leland. Akari pulled up the hem of her skirt. She looked completely prepared.
遠慮なくやらせてもらうわ。
If that's the case, I will take what I need. Leland cut some of Akari's hair and pricked one of her fingers with a needle. Okay. Why did she say that when she just pricks the finger? I guess that worked too. She should have said that from the start. I agree. She definitely should have. She smeared it on a human-shaped piece of backing paper.
これは明かりを模した人型よ。これを神殿に見立てた部屋に置くの。
This human figure is modeled after you. I'm going to place it in the room that's being used as a temple. Perhaps because she wanted to be careful, Leland was narrating her
これから執り
procedure.
行うのは力を持つ者を呼び寄せる儀式。
I will now begin the ceremony to summon a being of power.
力を持つ者は人間がまだ解読しきれていない複雑な魔法を使えるの。
Beings of power can use complicated magic that humans haven't been able to completely
儀
decipher
式の
yet.
狙いは力を持つ者に供物を捧げる対価として彼らの魔法を享受すること。
The goal of the ceremony is to make an offering to them and receive magical power of equivalent value. Leland started assembling a tower of books on the table. She then placed the candle next to it.
儀式は本来神殿でなければ行うことはできない。力を持つ者が住む異界とこの世界がつながる場所は限られているから。
Normally this ceremony is only possible at a temple since the other world where the beings of power reside and our own are only connected in certain locations.
神の名を持つ者を呼ぶのではない限り、こうして神殿を模した空間を用意すれば異界との接続が可能となる。
But as long as you don't summon a being with a divine name, and you prepare a space that resembles a temple, then it's possible to connect to the other world.
四方に貼られた札は四大神への祝詞と、この机は祭壇で、積み上げた本は供物を捧げる台となる。
The
聖
ta-
なるろうそく、聖水の代わりに水道水。
The talismans on the cardinal directions are prayers to the elemental gods. The books serve as the altar. For holy fire, candle. For holy water, tap water. The chicken I bought had been served on a dish that Leland placed on top of the books. She held the paper cut out of Akari and backed out of the room. Then she kneeled in the hallway and started stringing together some sounds in a terrifyingly low voice. They didn't seem like they could come out of the throat of a normal person. It had to be a spell. They had a very melodic rhythm, which the room began shaking to. There wasn't any wind, but the candle's flame was weaving and dust began falling from the ceiling. I started to feel someone's presence in the empty room. Could it be that they're here? Now in this room. Not a person, but something else entirely.
どうしてあの程度の供物しか捧げていないのに。
Why, even though we only presented that much of an offering? The spell had ended, and after 10 seconds or so, Leland raised her head. In the faint darkness, a shocking expression began appearing. Did something awful happen?
ある意味ではね、呼ぶ予定だったものよりはるかに高位なものが来たみたい。
Somewhat, it looks like a being of much higher rank than the one I had planned on summoning has come. The place Leland was staring into only had the swaying in darkness, but it was there. A being of power that had come from the other world. So what happens
わ
now?
からないわ。新たな供物を要求されるのか、あるいは今の供物で願いを叶えてくれるのか。
I don't know, a new offering might be demanded, or ours might be enough to grant our wish.
これほどの力を持つ相手に契約は無意味ね。足りなければいくらでも持っていくわ。
There's no point in making pacts for beings that have this much power if our offering isn't enough. I'll bring as much as we need. Stop this now, it's way too dangerous.
動かないで。
Don't move.
動けば
If you
あんた
do,
にも縁が生まれるわ。
if you
死んでし
do,
まった以上
oh.
契約は交わさねばならない。
If you do, you'll be linked to the ceremonies. Since they've been summoned, I need to make a pact. I didn't really understand what she was talking about, but what I did know was if I didn't do as I was told, something terrible would happen. So I kept an eye on the ceremony while holding Akari's shoulders. Leland placed the Akari-shaped human figure onto a silver tray. Then she slowly started pushing it into the middle of the room. And the next moment, a dark liquid was raining from the ceiling. It swallowed the paper figure completely. It was unlikely that the magic I knew and what Leland did was the same, but if you'd asked me, I would have said the ceremony had failed. Judging from the fact that Akari's paper human figure had been devoured, did that mean Akari's soul would be as well? I thought that was likely, so I held on to her shoulders a bit tighter. Eventually, when the dark liquid receded, the light from the candle on the table went out with a sound. It had suddenly gone dark. Could I move now, or should I stay still? Is everything okay, or were we still in danger? Was it Akari that I was feeling right now, or was it someone different? Leland, did something
契約
happen?
が終わり、眷属は元の場所へ帰ったわ。もう明かりをつけても大丈夫よ。
The pact has been completed and the being has returned to the other world. You can turn the lights on now. For some reason, Akari answered my question. While I was hesitating, wondering if I should move, Akari said something in a panic.
明かりは喋ってませんよ。今のは誰ですか？
I didn't say that. Who was that just
私
now?
よ。
It was me. Akari said that, then conjured a small flame from her fingertip. Oh my gosh, this is funny here. What? What's going on? There was an Akari to my right. There was an Akari to my left. There were two of her now. What on earth is going on? I looked at them very closely, but both were Akari from head to toe. My throat had gone dry and my voice wasn't coming out. What was this an effect of Leland's magic?
錯覚を見せてるのよ。
What you're seeing is an illusion. One of the Akari spoke with a voice that sounded like Leland's. Is this one
そ
Leland?
うよ。私以外の人間は、私を明かりだと思い込んでしまうの。
That's right, humans other than me now see me as Akari. And so in other words, the ceremony was a success? Of course. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be funny. Thank goodness. I can breathe again for now. So did you transfigure your body or something?
体は変化していないわ。
My body hasn't changed at all. So does that mean your head is somewhere not visible? I stretched out my hand over Leland's head, but there wasn't anything there. I slowly lowered my hand and my palm landed on Leland's head.
私の頭の位置と見かけの位置が一致するよう誤認させてるの。
I'm making the position of my head line up with where it's
あんたは
visible.
今、自分で思っている以上に手を上に持ち上げているわ。
Right now, your hand is actually a lot higher than you think. You really can do
手
it
のサイ
all.
ズ以外はね。
Other than resizing my clothes, yeah. I had so many other questions. Apparently, only living creatures could be shown the illusion. It couldn't trick facial recognition technology, and it wouldn't show up in photographs. The effects of the magic would last roughly 10 days. Until then, Leland would have the outward appearance of Akari. So you're planning on switching places using this magic?
私があかりの代わりを務める。その間に、あかりはオーディションを受ければいい。
That's right, I will play the role of Akari. In the meantime, Akari should go off to her audition. It was a simple plan. Since the audition was next week, we had to find the appropriate timing for the switch. Planning it around the audition should be enough. But Akari would only be free for 10 days using this method. It was likely that she wouldn't be that she wouldn't be anymore after
あ
that.
かりはオーディションを受けられれば十分です。
As long as I
決
get
まりますし、もし合格だったら、
as long as I get to the audition, everything should be okay. The results will be given immediately, and if I make it through, then
家を出ます。一人で生きていきます。
I'll leave home and make a living on my own. Are you serious about this?
ギルーさんがチャンスを作ってくださったんです。
Yes,
あかりも覚悟を決めなければいけないと思います。
Yes, Leland has created this chance for me, so I have to be prepared for everything that may come. She seemed serious about it. Kari was in high school, so it would be okay for her to start working. If anything, I was an example of that. It wasn't impossible. I understand, since you've made your decision, I'll help as well. The problem now was when to make the
啓発
switch.
式は明日なんです。
The tonsure ceremony is tomorrow, by the way.
本来ならあかりは明日、坊主になり、来週末にノロ就任式をする予定でして。
Originally, I would have my hair shaved tomorrow, and the Noro Priestess initiation ceremony would be held at the end of next week. Tomorrow, huh? That sure is sudden. The real Akari couldn't have her hair shaved, so Leland would have no choice but to deceive everyone with magic. That being the case, the switch would have to continue for over a week. With it happening so quickly, it didn't seem likely that things would go
やるしかない
smoothly.
でしょ。押し切るわ。
We don't have any choice, right? We need to press on. You are a reliable one, huh? Well, this is our only option here. I had to prepare myself to get involved as well. The plan was to not let anyone realize that Kari wasn't here. To sneak her out of the house and fool her parents. Worst case, I would figure something out. That was what I decided. Since I was getting involved, I would get my hands as dirty as needed.
ありがとうございます。
Thank
お
you.
礼は必ずしますので。
Thank you both so much. I'll be sure to repay the favor. Don't forget us when you make it big. We put our right hands in together. That was what you did before attempting something big. We let out a cheer as we waved our hands in the air. We had a big week ahead of us. It was time for the big switch. Alright guys, it's not time yet, but I'm gonna take a break because I'm feeling thirsty and possibly need a bathroom, so I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Now we can get on with this. Alright. You all should be able to see me in the game now. The following day, Leland attended the tonsure ceremony as a Kari. It was conducted in the Kiminari Palace Garden. Kenjuna priestesses circled around a hall of worship called a Kami Massage 7 times while chanting prayers, then singing divine songs at the hall. During the process, Leland was taken deep into a forest to a spring where she was bathed, then dressed in white robes. When they returned, the ceremony began in a tatami room they had prepared for the occasion. Leland wore a wig stolen from the butler by Akari to the ceremony. Since it was designed for men, it definitely would have looked weird, but since our perception was being altered, it didn't seem that way. The plan was to make it look like Akari was losing hair at the same time as the wig was being shaved. Was the ceremony a success?
おかげさまで怪しまれた様子もないようです。
Yes, thank goodness no one seemed to suspect a thing. The two of them had been on the phone the whole time during the ceremony. Akari had answered the questions that Leland couldn't. That was how we got through the first day. The switch had been a success. We made it past the first obstacle. Well, look at the time. Before we knew it, it had gotten dark. Since we were inside all day, our sense of time was off. Time to make some dinner. Is there anything you want to
い
eat?
えいえ、それくらいあかりがやりますよ。
No, at the very least, let me prepare the
そ
food.
の住まわせてもらう予定ですし。
Speaking of which, are you planning on letting me live here? Honestly, it was more like she was taking refuge. While Leland was posing as Akari, Akari herself couldn't be seen outside. So until her audition, she would remain hidden at my house. You can cook?
失礼な。あかりはこう見えても超絶技巧の持ち主なんですよ。
How rude! Despite my looks, I have some extraordinary skills.
今から30分後にあまりの美味しさに神戸を垂れる西目さんが見えます。
30 minutes from now, you'll be bowing your head at how delicious the food is. She was full of confidence. Can I ask you to cook then? I'll show you around the kitchen and let you know where everything is.
あ、はい。
Oh, okay. We were standing in the kitchen. Given that she talked big about her extraordinary skills, she was much better than me at using a knife. I was getting her the necessary seasonings and stuff, so I ended up being there the whole time. And before I knew it, it was done. Tonight's dinner was ginger fried pork. There was also miso soup and even a salad. I normally only made one dish per meal, so I was moved that this one came with sides. It was time for the taste test. It's delicious.
そうでしょう、そうでしょう。
Hehehe. I know,
あ
right?
かりは両家のお嬢様ですからね。勉強ができるだけではダメで、あの手この手の技術が仕込まれているのです。
It's because I'm the daughter of a respectable family. Just doing well in school wasn't enough, so they taught me a bunch of different skills.
もっと褒めてくれていいんですよ。
So you're more than welcome to keep on complimenting me. Akari puffed up her chest. Yeah, you're great at cooking, and you're so cute. You're the best, Akari. Why do you go all
面
quiet?
と向かって可愛いと言われるのは照れますね。
Well, you're telling me I'm cute. It made me all
で
embarrassed.
すが甘いですよ西目さん。そんなことを言ってもあかりは落とされませんよ。
But you're too naive, Nishime. Flattery won't be enough to make me fall for you. And why would I want to fall for you, Akari? What are you talking about? Akari was strangely excited. But as I thought that, her face suddenly went red, and she hit her mouth with the bowl she was holding. As I tried to figure out what I did, Akari looked at me with upturned eyes and said something.
だって今日から西目さんと二人きりで暮らすことになるじゃないですか。
I mean, starting today, it'll be just the two of us living together. Ah. The rom-com protagonist part of my brain suddenly got a nosebleed. Akari, who's always just joking around, was showing me her shy side. On top of that, she was looking at me with upturned eyes and hiding her mouth with her bowl. She was good at this. So what? Do you think I'll try to do something? As I explained myself, it felt like I had been thinking about it. Did it seem like I was rushing to hit the mark? I just honestly want you to do your best, so that's why I would never do something like that. Do something that would make you upset or anything.
はい。
Oh yes, of
それは
course.
分かっていますよ。
Oh yes, of
西目
course.
さんはそういう人ではないということくらい。
Oh yes, of course. I understand that you're not the kind of person to do something like that.
その西目さんの態度が思わせぶりというか。
But your
いつ
behavior.
も距離が近かったですし。
But your behavior is a bit suggestive. Like in the kitchen, you were pretty close to me. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that. I was just acting how I usually do around Leland.
嫌ではなかったです。そこ
Oh,
だけは知っていてください。
Oh, it didn't bother me or anything. Please don't worry about that.
リルーさんとはいつもあんな距離なんですか？
But is that how close you always are with Leland? Apparently, I'm pretty good at digging graves for myself. Thank you for the meal. It was so good. I'll start doing the dishes, so you can go take a bath first. I stood up quickly. As I carried the empty dishes to the sink, Akari's face turned an even darker shade of red.
お風呂に入れということは、その西目さんはあかりにそういう期待をされているのかもしれませんが。
A bath, which means you're expecting me to Akari. I wouldn't blame Hikaru for possibly doing that, but your mind is dirty.
そのあかりは別にそういうつもりではないと言いますか。いや、リルーさんと比べられると胸のボリュームが足りなくてがっかりされますよと言いますか。
I don't plan on doing that. I mean, compared to Leland, I might be lacking in the chest area, which might be a disappointment, so it looks like she misunderstood something I said. What should I do? I don't have enough life experience to defuse a situation like this. Before I realized it, my face was also red. I had created some expectations. It's all over. She was too different from Leland. For one thing, Leland didn't involve herself with the housework, plus we've been living in a way where we didn't interfere with each other. That's why Akari's age-appropriate cuteness was making me dizzy. No, I couldn't let it get to me. That's right, don't forget the plan. You dummy. I gave her a chop to the head. Why would I have some kind of desire for you? If anything, Leland is more my type anyway.
そうですよね。これはとんだ失礼を。お風呂に行ってきますね。
I see. I'm so sorry about all this. I'll go take that bath now. Akari seemed a little sad as she left the living room. I watched her leave and let out a sigh. While I was relieved at making it through that situation, the regret over my words caught up to me. What I just said wasn't true. I'd basically just declared that Akari didn't have any charm or appeal. Anyone would be hurt if they were told that. Yeah, but in a situation like that, it's better to be blunt than to lead someone on. But hurting people isn't... the answer wouldn't come out. What was I thinking? This is Akari we're talking about. She probably hadn't thought anything about it, so there was no need to panic. Yeah, that's probably true. She had to know that I was just joking around. She was always strangely aware of things like that.
お風呂、先にいただきました。
I finished with my bath. As I was reading manga in my room, Akari showed up. Probably because it was right after her bath, her cheeks were pink. She was wearing a t-shirt and shorts. My eyes were drawn to her slender legs, probably because her shorts came up above her knees. Ugh. Despite living on the southern islands, her skin was pale. Staring like this was rude, so I quickly left the room. I innocently made my way to the bathroom and took off my clothes. When I got into the bath, there was a nice scent in the air that I'd never smelled before. I almost thought I'd gotten into my neighbor's bath by mistake, but the source of the scent was from some shampoo I'd never seen before. There was also some conditioner and body wash. After looking around, I noticed more pink things sitting around the bath. And in the rest of the bathroom, I found makeup, a pink comb, and a cup with a bunny pattern. I started to feel uneasy. Since Leland was the type to not have any personal items, that had been a weird conversation in its own way. I had never minded, but for instance, having a girl's toothbrush sitting next to mine, it made me restless for no reason. Calm down. So what if they're there? We were living together, so having some of her things around was normal. Akari was a normal girl. I couldn't treat her the same way as Leland. Okay. I took a deep breath and headed to the living room where Akari was. I had planned on making small talk with her, but she was concentrating intensely on the TV. The TV in the living room was the only device in the whole house that displayed images. She was whispering lines from what she was watching. She looked very serious, so I stopped myself from saying anything. I figured I'd go and make myself some tea or something. I left the living room, doing my best not to make any noise. One night, a phone call came from Leland. Why are you calling me? Did something
あ
happen?
かりを読んでメッセージを送っても反応がないの。
Get Akari, I sent her a message, but she didn't respond. I think she's taking a bath. Is it
急
urgent?
ぎよ。かなり疑われてるわ。
Yes, they're starting to get suspicious. Gotcha. I stayed on the line as I walked over to the bathroom. I knocked on the door and called her name. There was no reply. Thinking about it, would knocks on the bathroom door be audible from where the bath is? I wasn't sure, but if I carelessly entered and bumped into her, that would be a huge problem. Since I didn't have any other choice, I continued to knock on the door. It didn't seem like she could hear
まだ
it.
なの。
Still no response? She was rushing me over the phone. Geez, no other option then. Hey, I'm opening the door. I announced it and opened the door to the bathroom. There was a folded change of clothes on the floor, and next to that, in the laundry basket, were the clothes she'd just taken off. I did my best to avert my eyes and went over to the door where the bath was. Her silhouette was invisible through the frosted glass. Just through here was a naked cutie. Judging from the situation alone, we were in a late night anime for sure. Actually experiencing this firsthand made me super nervous. I was scared that my intentions would be misunderstood. When I knocked one more time, the sound of the shower stopped.
何ですか？
What is it? A scared voice came from the other side. My chest tightened with guilt. Leland called with an urgent issue. Could you hurry?
わかりました。
Okay, she replied with a seemingly relieved tone. I felt the same way. Akari came out of the shower about 10 minutes later. She talked on the phone as she dried her hair. Since the call was on speakerphone, I could hear the conversation even if I didn't want to
キリ
listen.
コを名乗る女からメッセージが来てるの。電話もかかってきてるわ。
See, I got a message from a girl calling herself Kiriko. She even called.
何と言っているんですか？
What did the message say?
ごきげんよう、赤積あかり。儀式まで数日と迫った今日この頃、いかがお過ごしかしら。
Let me see. How do you do, Akari and Katsumi? How have you spent these last few days leading up to the ceremony?
あなたと言ったら弱気な発言ばかりで、同じノロとなるものとして不安でしかありませんわ。
As someone who is also becoming a priestess when it comes to someone as timid as you, I can only feel worried.
でも、安心してくださいまし。
But please have peace of
こ
mind.
の私が一緒にいて差し上げますもの。あなたは昔から寂しがり屋ですものね。もう、ほっほっほ。
Since I, Kiriko, will be by your side, you have always been a lonely one, haven't you? Oh, ho, ho, ho.
ところで、今晩電話とかできますと書いてあるわ。
By the way, could you give me a call tonight? Kiriko was the real name of that Goldilocks girl. While she came off as confident, she seemed
連
lonely
絡あり
too.
がとうございます。キリコにはあかりから電話をかけます。
Thank you for letting me know. I'll give her a call myself. She shrugged and started fiddling with her phone. She laid down on the couch and began drying her hair as she made the call. This is how she relaxed at home, huh? And she's going to give herself away here!
もしもし、あかりです。
Oh, hello, this is Akari.
随分とうるさい場所にいるんですのね。
Oh my, you are somewhere quite noisy, aren't you?
髪を乾かしているだけです。
You just gave yourself away here! I'm just drying my hair, don't mind it.
髪を乾かす？剃髪しましたのに？
Drying your hair even though it was shaved off? She slipped up already? That's what I was saying, Hikaru! I broke out in a cold sweat.
実はお習字をしましてね。箸を乾かしているんですよ。
I dropped my favorite plushie in the bath, so I'm drying that off. What an awful
髪
lie.
ではなく、髪だったんですのね。紛らわしい。
Oh, so not your hair, but your bear. Those two words are so easy to mistake. Apparently it worked.
わざわざ電話するほどの用途は何ですか？
So what was so urgent that you needed me to call you?
私、ノロとしての自覚がいまいちなあなたに、少しお説教をして差し上げようかと思ってますの。
Since you have no idea what it means to be a Noro priestess, I thought I would give you a short lecture on the
そ
topic.
れは、ありがたい話ですね。
My oh my! I would be so grateful to hear that. Akari responded, not sounding truthful at
そ
all.
っちはサバサバしたものですね。属性に未練はないんですかね？
You sound so relieved, it must mean you you don't have any lingering attachment to this world anymore, huh?
ノロというのは大名ですわ。これほどの大任、君左殿では数十年ぶりのこと。
Becoming a Noro priestess is a royal command. It has been decades since such an important task has been asked of the Kunsanden family.
私にも夢はありましたが、お役目を果たすことは分家としての義務ですもの。仕方ありませんわ。
I had my own dreams, but fulfilling this role is a serious family obligation. I do not have any other choice.
そうですか。それは熱心ですね。
Oh, is that how it is? You speak with so much passion.
その言い方、私を侮辱してますの？
That tone, are you trying to insult
ま
me?
さか。あかりは純粋に心の底から尊敬してそう言ってますよ。
I would never. I was saying that out of pure respect from the bottom of my
普
heart.
段は呼吸をするように嘘をつくあかりですが、今の言葉に関しては嘘ではありません。
Lying is as natural as breathing for me, but I wasn't when I said those
持
words.
って回った言い方を。
That indirect
あなた
tone.
はいいですわよね。夢もなく、凡庸な日々を送っていただけなんですもの。
Things will be easier for you, won't they, since your life has been such a mediocre, dreamless one up till now.
ノロになるにあたって、捨てなければならない夢もない。
You don't have any dreams you would be abandoning by becoming a priestess. She's saying that all smugly, but she knows nothing. Akari didn't respond. Only Leland and I knew about the voice acting, so it's natural that Goldilocks didn't know. She wouldn't know what Akari would have to throw away or what she was prepared to do. Akari let 5 seconds or so pass before responding in a weak voice.
ええ。まあ、そうなんです。
Oh
と言い
well.
たいところですが、様々な事情がありまして。
Oh well, that's true is what I'd like to say, but due to various circumstances, she suddenly strengthened her
あかり
tone.
は諦めませんよ。
I'm not going to give up.
諦めない？何を考えているんですって？
You're not giving up? What are you thinking?
様々なことと言ったではありませんか。キリコでは到底理解できない。深いことをあかりは考えているんです。
Didn't I just say, I've been thinking deeply about things you couldn't possibly understand?
私の経営学よりも本気なんですの？
Is it more serious than my business administration studies?
そうですよ。人生をかけてます。
Yep, a lot more. I'm betting my life on it. Short silence. Wouldn't they suspect she was running away now? I started to worry a little.
ま、あなたのことだから、どうせまた適当な嘘をついているんでしょ？
Well, this is very like you. In any case, you're just telling irresponsible lies again. She saw through it.
そんなことばかりしていると、友達をなくしますわよ。
If you keep this up, you'll lose all your friends, you hear me? Well, the lies would probably hurt her, yes, but it's more important to find your own path to walk. So, I'm fine with her doing as she wants, especially because that'll finally get her out of the picture.
はいはい。気をつけますって。
Yes, yes, I'll be careful. When Goldilocks replied with a light tone, Akari responded in kind. That was the Akari I knew. She continued replying neutrally. After continuing for another 30 minutes, the call finally ended. Akari buried her tired-looking face into the couch. Looks like you were able to deceive her quite
ごまか
well.
してよかったのかはわかりませんけどね。普段通りを演じるのがこんなに辛いとは思いませんでした。
I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. I didn't think it would be this difficult to act like I normally do. Goldilocks pictured a future where she, along with Akari, threw away their dreams and became Noro priestesses together. But Akari had denied that future. Instead, she was leaving the island and auditioning to be a voice actress. She passed she wouldn't run away from home. She would neglect her duty to become a priestess and live in Tokyo. Only Goldilocks would walk the path expected of her. She would get Akari's half of the work pushed onto her. If she claimed betrayal, she'd be right. But being forced to become Noro priestesses was the awful part to begin with. You're not wrong. No, you're not in the wrong here, so don't worry about
西目
that.
さん、あかりは悪いなんて思ってませんよ。キ
あ
ヨコは何と言っても敵ですから。
I don't think so either. At the end of the day, Kiriko is my
敵を
enemy.
生贄にのし上がれるのなら、あかりは躊躇しません。
If I had to sacrifice my enemy to get to the top, I wouldn't blink twice. What a cold-blooded response. Her heartlessness was in full force. But I wasn't foolish enough to not see through her tough act. No matter what anyone said, these two were childhood friends. It would take nerves of steel to see someone like that as just a stepping stone. But Akari had definitely prepared herself for what was coming. Do your best out there. I patted her head. I wasn't opposed, nor did I have anything else to say. Fulfilling your dreams was draining. It was really hard. That was what I thought. Just like that, a few days had gone by. With each passing day, the communication between Leland and Akari had decreased. It was proof we were able to lead stable lives. And one day, the choices don't have an impact on the story. You can skip without any consequences. Okay, so the choices don't matter, but I'm gonna save here anyway. And then continue on, obviously. Since they don't have an impact, I don't feel too bad about not having a poll either. So let's see, ask Akari if we've met before, about the ceremony, and skip to next section, huh? I'm curious about meeting before, so we're gonna do that. One night, Akari was watching TV in the living room. She had been practicing during the day and spending her time freely in the evenings. I asked her something that had been on my mind for a long time. When we first met, you said you had met me before, didn't you? Was that really true?
おやおや、西目さんはあかりとの出会いエピソードが気になるのですね。当ててみせましょう。
Oh my, are you interested in the episode where we first met? Why don't we try guessing? Oh my gosh. Her smugness makes me want to punch her in the face right now. But not as bad as when we initially met her.
結婚式でお二人の出会いはどこですかと聞かれて、二人が違う答えを返したら、それは気まずい思いをするのが嫌で聞いていますね。
You're asking me if it would make for an awkward experience if at our wedding we were asked where we met and we gave different answers, right? Oh my gosh! What kind of fantasy is going on in her head? I have no clue what you're talking
答えを
about.
言いましょう。
Let's say our
本
answers.
当のことですよ。あかりが4歳だったので、西目さんは5歳だったのではないでしょうか。
Well, it's really true. I was 4, so you would have been 5, right? And that means that I have been to this island a long time
そうなり
ago.
ますね。
It looks that way. If it was when I was 5, it was the year that my parents died. If I came to this island, I wonder if I was brought by my parents. That would mean I've stayed in this house before, or 2. I don't remember at all. Since I couldn't remember my grandfather's face at all, it was a reasonable
本
story.
当に思い出せませんか？
You really
あか
don't
り
re-
と西目さんは二人でホタルを見たんです。
You really don't remember at all? You and I, the two of us, watched the
山に
fireflies.
はホタルがいっぱいいて、とても綺麗でした。
There were a bunch of them on the mountain. They were so
で
pretty.
も、あかりはホタルに夢中になるあまり、大人たちから離れてしまって、
But I
気
had
がつけ
gotten
ば真っ暗な森の中でした。
but I had gotten carried away with them and got separated from the adults when I realized I was in the middle of a dark
どこ
forest.
にも親はいなくて、急に心細くなって、
My parents
そ
were
の二人
no
の手を握ってくれたのが西目さんだったんです。
my parents were nowhere to be found, and I suddenly started to feel so helpless, and the one who grabbed my hand at that moment was you. Akari remembered me from a time when we both got left behind in a forest. So I grabbed her by the hand and led her back to where all the adults were, huh? I turned out to be the hero of the story.
西目さんも普通に泣いてましたよ。二人で泣きまくったら、大人がやってきてくれたんです。
Oh no, you cried like normal. After you and I cried for a while, the adults came and found us. So I wasn't useful at all then? Why would you tell me about the part where I grabbed your hand?
そこだけは救いになったと思います。一人じゃないってことが分かりましたから。
You helped me out by just doing that. I think it made me feel like I wasn't
そ
alone.
もそも5歳児が一人でどうにかできるはずもないですしね。
There's no way a 5-year-old child could have done something on their own in the first place. You're being strangely realistic. We started talking about the good old days. About how Akari's father and my grandfather were gardening associates, and our families built a relationship together. We got carried away chatting, and continued until late at night. It was the first time I ever had such a long conversation with someone. I didn't know that talking to someone could be this fun. It could be if the conversation itself is fun, but a lot of times conversation can be dull, especially if it doesn't challenge your thinking at all. Or it pushes you to some other thinking that you know that has no basis except for social norms. It would be nice if I could have such long conversations with Leland too. Okay. More choices. So let's save again. Doesn't matter, but it's good to save. Regardless. Okay. Alright, so it seems like it's the same choices. So let's ask about the ceremony. Get that out of the way. Okay. There we go. That wire's better. The phone that never made a sound began to ring. I answered, thinking about how unusual it was for us to receive a call. It was my grandfather. My reason for calling? I ain't got one. I figured something might have changed or something. Ha 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 ha. It was quite the story for him to have made an international call. I guess I should think of it as him being worried about me. Nothing has really changed around here. Sometimes I go to work and I've been eating and stuff. What about the Asato family? Those people still going on about as usual? To think my grandfather would bring up that name. I didn't know he was acquainted with them or anything. Nevertheless, they suddenly became the topic of conversation. It seemed as though he wanted to know something. While thinking it was suspicious, I mentioned how the Neural Priestesses were going to be initiated. I had no clue if I was right, but what I thought my grandfather wanted to know must have been related to that aspect. The Neural Priestesses must have been chosen. That's awful. That means trouble's coming. Interesting here. I wonder what troubles. All of a sudden, my grandfather's voice got lower. Even though he was the type that let out a laugh every 30 seconds or so. There wasn't a hint of joy or anything of the sort from him. Instead, I felt negative emotions like impatience or sense of danger from over the phone. That's awful. What's awful about it? It's just being selected, right? Just the fact that they have to select is awful. Why? I don't follow you. There's no need for you to understand. If there's any updates, give me a call. After he got out what he wanted to ask, he hung up on me. While feeling a slight chill down my spine, I hung up the phone. If Neural Priestesses had been selected, it meant something bad had happened. As if to say it was some kind of reaction. From what Akari had said, the Neural Priestess initiation ceremony was a way to preserve culture, but considering that my grandfather's reaction was strangely dramatic, was it awful for it to be preserved? Was it awful to be cornered into a situation where you had to preserve it? I didn't have enough information to continue thinking about it. For now, I decided to forget about the call. Let's see, again. But I'm wondering if it's the same choices, so let's do that. Yeah, it looks like it's the same choices all the time, but we're gonna save just in case. Alright. So yeah, I don't get why it keeps coming back to this, but since we went through both of them already, we'll probably do skip to next. So I don't feel like seeing if I exhausted them. Change view Akari, huh? A few days had passed since Nishime took me into his home. It was a lifestyle I wasn't used to, but I had finally settled in. That night I gave Leland a call. I had said that I wanted to talk about the Switch, but my real intent was to apologize.
変なことになってしまって。
I'm sorry things have gotten so
あかり
weird.
が謝ることじゃないでしょ。言い出したのは私だし。
It's not something for you to apologize for, right? This whole thing was my idea. The voice on the line was Leland's real one. Apparently her magic and stuff didn't have an effect over the
なりす
phone.
ましなことではなくて、西目さんのことです。
It's not about the Switch, it's about Nishime. About
西
Hikaru.
目さんの隣って、リルーさんのポジションじゃないですか。
It's your position to be by his side, isn't it?
あかりが勝手に入っていくのは、やっぱりちょっと気が引けるというか。
So coming in like I have has been a little awkward after all. Position was trying to talk to her about her and Nishime's relationship, but Leland really didn't seem to understand. When I talked to her like I did with my classmates, she didn't always understand me. I understood that she was from a foreign country, but even though we were in the same age group, I felt that our cultures were completely
リルーさんの
different.
国には、男子の世話焼き役みたいなポジションはないんですか？
In your home country, they don't have the position of looking after a boy. It doesn't mean they're dating, but it was a role that someone always played. They added to the jokes when the boy makes fun of themselves or they went with them, they're taking out the trash. Sometimes it's unspoken and others it's more apparent. There are many different ways of going about it, but it's a position that girls don't want to give up. If you step into someone else's place, even if it wasn't your intention, it's normal to apologize.
初めて聞いた。
No, this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
そうなんですか？
That's
あかりの学校だけだったりするんでしょうか？
Is that so? I wonder if it's something that's only done at my school. The middle school in Toyotoki Island was small, so maybe that's why we have those stories. Did I expose myself as a total country bumpkin? It was a little embarrassing.
やっぱり
But maybe.
何ですか？
What is it?
あかりとひかるが二人だけで暮らしているって聞くと苦しい気持ちになるかも。
It might be a little painful for me to know that you and Hikaru are living together. Leland said wistfully. Wistfully, okay. Hearing her talk about these things without a trace of bashfulness is another reminder of her foreign heritage.
おやおやおや。自身の秘めたる気持ちに気づいてしまいましたね。やはり、西目さんラブなんですね。
Oh my, have you come to notice the feelings that were hidden inside of you? It seems like you do like Nishime after all. I want to punch you in the face right now, Akari.
よろしければ、あかりが西目さんに気持ちを聞いてまいりましょうか。
If that's the case, shall I ask him what his feelings are for you? Just out of curiosity, or rather, it was the role I always played when discussing crushes with other girls. That of the big-mouthed pseudo-cupid. Of course, I was also interested in the outcomes of these love stories. However, when I'd involved myself like that, my friends would usually give me annoyed looks and say they'd never trust me with those things again. That was fine. It was a little unfortunate, but I do take most of the responsibility for that. That's why Leland's response shocked me big
お願
time.
いしてもいい？
Can I ask you to do that? Huh?
私多分ひかるが好きなんだと思う。
I think maybe I like Hikaru.
え？
Huh? At that moment, I think some unladylike noises came out of my mouth. They were noises of a fool with no way out when they asked something as a joke, but it wasn't taken as one. And at the same time, I felt a sharp, heavy pain in my heart.
この間あかりに考えろって言われて、それからずっと考えていたの。
You told me to think about it the other day, and I have been.
意外でしたね。まさか本当に好きになるなんて。
That's unexpected. You actually like
わからな
him?
いわ。好きじゃないかもしれない。自分でもよくわからなくて確かめたいだけ。
I don't know. It might be that I don't. I don't really understand myself. I just want to
ヒカル
confirm.
には言わないで。知られたくないから。
Don't mention anything to Hikaru. I don't want him to know.
ええ。あかりは秘密は守りますよ。
Yes,
そこは
yes.
安心してください。
Yes, of course. I'll keep your secret. Please don't worry about that. I tried acting as if everything was normal, but I was struggling to keep myself composed. Why was I so upset? Was it because what Leland had said was so unexpected? Or was it because of the words I like Hikaru? It might have been that. She said them, even if she didn't actually like him, I would have been surprised. Even if she didn't like him, weird. For some reason, I was having a hard time breathing. My head felt like it was covered by a heavy haze. What's going on here? Was I sick?
あかり聞いてる？
Akari, are you listening?
はい。何でしょうか。
Oh yeah, what was
ヒカ
that?
ルに聞いてみるの。お願いねって話。
Our talk about asking Hikaru for me.
はい。 任せてください。
Alright, please leave it to me. Now that I said it, there was no way out. First of all, I didn't need one. All I had to do was ask him. And that would be that. That's why the pain I was feeling in my chest definitely had to be some kind of mistake. So I decided that the next day I would talk to Nishime about it. When I saw he had returned home, I made my way to the living room. Oh, Leland, good timing.
はい。
Huh? Oh, it's you, Akari. Never mind.
何ですかそれは。
What in the world was that? I responded quickly, but I was hurt inside.
この家にいるのは超絶可愛いあかりちゃんなのに、どうして別の人と間違えるのでしょう。
How could you confuse me for someone else when the only other person in this house is the exceptionally cute Akari? And I want to punch her in the face for saying that. Sorry about that. It was force of habit.
では、いつもの癖で何と言おうとしたのか教えてもらおうじゃないですか。
Well, since you say that, why don't you tell me about this habit of
なぜ
yours?
あかりならじゃあいいやになるんですか？
Why was I written off because I'm me? Don't get so mad, it was just about the laundry. Leland always gathers the wash, so I just wanted to give her my clothes.
その話ならあかりに任せてもらうことは不可能ですね。何せ、あかりは自分で洗濯をしたことがありませんから。
If that's the case, it's something that I cannot be entrusted with since I have never had to do laundry myself. Don't get snobby with me, I thought you were taught all these exceptional skills.
洗濯は含まれませんよ。手料理を作ってもらったら西目さんは嬉しいでしょ。でも手洗濯してもらっても嬉しくないじゃないですか。
That wasn't one of them. You were happy having my homemade meals, right? But you wouldn't be okay with me doing the laundry, would you? Your standards are all over the place. How do you plan to do your laundry? You wouldn't want to wash it all together, right?
嫌ではないです。勝手に決めないでください。
I wouldn't care. Please don't make assumptions like that. Even I thought I was being unreasonable with my anger. But I couldn't stand being seen as a bother. Nishime, having just even been yelled at, had an astonished look on his face. I started to wonder if I had done something wrong. When I thought that I was responsible for his expression, I started to feel annoyed at
嫌
myself.
ではないですから。西目さんにお任せします。
It wouldn't bother me at all, so I'll leave it to you. Oh, you're telling me to do it?
そうです。よろしくお願いします。持ってくるのでお渡しします。
That's right, thank you in advance. I will bring out what I need washed. What about your underwear? That should be... I couldn't declare that it didn't matter to me if he saw them. That would actually be worse. I didn't want him to see them.
やっぱりあかりが洗います。西目さんの服を出してください。後で洗濯機の使い方を教えていただけると、あかりは大変喜びます。
You know what? I'll do the laundry. Please take out what you need washed. I'd also appreciate if you'd teach me how to use the machine. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but sure.
西目さん、
Oh, one more thing. Yeah?
リルーさんのこと好きなんですか？
You like Leland? Why would I ask now? The timing didn't make any sense at all. But I felt this was the only time I could say it, coming off all that from earlier. What are you talking about? Ishime's face went red and he was blatantly flustered. It is a completely different reaction than before. So that's how it is, huh? The pain in my heart came at the same moment I realized the truth. Why? I didn't like him at all, so why did I have to be in pain? So you don't understand what it means to like someone, huh? It would be a good idea to start with knowing what love is. Even though I had given that advice condescendingly, even though I had taken pleasure from the affairs of others. What's wrong?
何でもありません。少し疲れたので休ませてください。
Nothing, I'm a little tired, so just let me rest a bit. And I'm just chuckling inside here because I saw that coming. There was no way he could see my tears. But my tone of voice was shaky, so he might have noticed. Then I remembered his blushing face and got all frustrated. He didn't need to get that flustered. Or perhaps could it be that he liked me? If I'd asked him that, would he have reacted the same way? Wait. What was I thinking? There was something I had to do right now. Yeah. I took a deep breath. I had to forget about everything. These feelings were all lies. I just had to accept that. That's why I had to get rid of them. Yes, there was nothing there now. I would return to the Akari everyone knew, and I would treat Nishime like I always have. This is fine. This had to be fine. Concentrate. This time was something that Nishime and Leland had given me. My job here was to pass my audition, and I mustn't think about anything else but that. I immersed myself in my practice until nightfall. And from the following day on, I would focus on my goal, leaving no room for idle thoughts. Back to Hikaru, huh? Let me check on the time here. Okay. We've still got a few minutes, but it's pretty close, so I'm gonna continue on for a while. Before I knew it, her time was up. The audition was tomorrow, so my time living with Akari ended today. It was a shame since things had just started going well. I felt both relief and loneliness. Even through the maelstrom of emotions, it had been a fun week.
あかりも楽しかったですよ。協力してくれたのが西目さんでよかったです。
I had fun too. I'm glad I had the chance to cooperate with you. We talked about trivial things as we stood in the kitchen. For today's meal, we were having gyoza. I hadn't made them since my home economics class. It's not like you to be so normal. I hope the ocean waves don't get rough.
楽しかったと言いつつ、不吉なフラグを立てるのは本当は楽しくなかったという遠回しな嫌味ですか？そうですか？我が軍の汎用人型決戦兵器は強いですよ。
Is saying it was fun and then raising ominous flags a sarcastic and indirect way of saying it wasn't fun? Is this war? My army's humanoid weapon is super strong. There's the wild girl I know.
そうですか。わかりましたよ。西目さんは超絶美少女の明かりがいなくなって寂しいですよね。
Okay, I get it. You're going to be lonely without the exceptionally cute Akari around, right? Keep dreaming.
おー、今のは聞きました。愛を感じます。
Ooh, that did it for me. I can feel the love. Oh my gosh. She goes for that, huh? If you felt the love in that, you must be an extreme masochist. And now we know likely where the dog gets its responses from. We finished making the gyoza while we were chatting away. We ate them with the rice we prepared. Given that we were on an island, we topped it with minced fish. The small fish called double-lined Giesler had a strange taste that is quite delicious.
西目さんにも念のためこれを渡しておきます。
Oh yeah, just in case I will give you this. While we were eating, Akari took out a tablet.
あかりの予備のタブレットです。
This is
これで
the
リルーさんやあかりと連絡を取ることができますよ。
this is the backup to my backup tablet. You can contact both Leland and me with this. Hold on, how many tablets do you
数
have?
までは把握していませんね。とりあえず新しいのが出たら買ってもらいます。
I wouldn't be able to tell you the exact number in any case. When a new model comes out, someone gets it for
あ
me.
かり的には
Or
Wi-Fi
each.
なしでも使いたいので SIM も全台に挿してます。
Just like I do, you can use it without needing Wi-Fi since it's got a SIM card. So it's got cellular service, huh? I don't get any of that, but I do get that you're rich. I played around with the tablet. It was the same model as the one Leland had been using, so I understood the gist of how to use
後で
it.
試しにあかりのスマホにメッセージを送ってみてください。
Later on, please try sending me a sending my phone a message as a test. Gotcha, I'll try it out. If I told her I didn't know how to do that, she would have made fun of me, so I just nodded. If I ran into any troubles, I could probably just look it up. I could do that at least. I just had to Google it. It's right. Seeing it spelled like that was funny. But what's wrong? Kari's movement had tensed up. After calling out to her, she raised her head with a start.
いえ、何でもありません。
Oh, it's nothing.
大変失礼な振る舞いでしたね。
Oh no, it's nothing. That was super rude of me, wasn't
水着
it?
でお風呂に一緒に入ってあげるなどのお詫びが必要かもしれません。
I probably need to let you take a bath with me in my swimsuit or something as a way to apologize now. What is going on through your head there, Akari? What? She returned to her usual self. Maybe I had just imagined it. She looked like she was deep in thought, but that was delicious. Okay, it's about time, but I'm gonna wait until it gives me a picture to call it. So that way we've got a good way of getting a denotion of save. After eating, we cleared the table, took our baths, watched some TV, and headed to bed.
おやすみなさい。
Well, good night. Alright, and we're gonna save right here. And I'll also call it here. I thank you all for coming. If you're watching this over on YouTube and you liked it, feel free to leave a like and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon to hopefully be notified of when we'll be live again. And if you're on Twitch, you know what to do. As for when I'll be streaming again, I've got plans tomorrow and a bunch of other stuff to do. So that will likely be Monday, but check my socials on that. In the meantime, let me look up somebody to raid. Okay. Not there. Let's try out different community. I'm the only one there, so let's try looking for someone that's streaming a game that I like, since I doubt too many others are streaming this. It'll be a calm one. Alright, not you. Okay. We are going to be rating a St. Jimmy TTE. They are playing Trails in the Sky, which is a game that I kind of like. It's a calm one, much more calm than other RPGs, so that should help you guys relax. But I don't know anything about this guy, so give him my regards. Well, we'll check on a different person then, because I wasn't allowed there. And if this one fails, I'm just gonna give up. Okay. We are going to try a bangy zoom. Not too sure about this guy, but I hope you all like him. The game is rather calm itself, as I said, since it's still Trails in the Sky. But give them my regards, and tell them I'll be there when I can. And with that out of the way, I thank you all again for coming. Bye!